There you go. I grabbed him down.
Yeah, I had to make sure you had them first before I asked for them again. Okay, you say, boy, what you do with them one last week?
Oh, let me get mine.
All praise the Most High. I see you back there.
Oh, son, yeah. What's up, bro? Yeah. Where's that video at? Right there? Amen. Shalom, G. Today, man, I've been non-stop, man.
Our goal is to get out together, raised up on the soil. Where we go for this music, my current mood. Reminiscing and thinking about my dude, R.I.P. He was a good dude. Every time I read the book, I say, "Ooh, that's so good." So yeah, been a blockbuster since the world is good. Nowadays, seems like everybody turns out that you can be a brother you grew up with. That fuck you on your job.
What's up, Coach Thomas? What's up, Coach Thomas? Yes. You need that. You need that.
When I seen it, I was like,
y'all. I guess the brothers ain't got much to say. So,
Yeah, go ahead, man.
all right, I guess everybody, we all family here, we know what it is. Yes, sir. We're going to get this open in prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten and beloved Son,
That's right.
our uncrowned King, our Lord and Savior, our Redeemer.
That's right.
Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 149th chapter, it reads, Praise ye the Most High. Sing unto Yahweh a new song, and in His praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in Him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their King.
That's right.
Let them praise His name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto Him with the timbrel and harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in His people. He will bountifully, or He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yah be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints. Praise ye the Lord.
Hallelujah! Say it out!
All right, y'all.
All right, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. I want to praise His name, say I'm so thankful to be back home. Last week, y'all were talking about servile work. Well, it's a condition of my employment. I've been on lockdown. And I talked to my supervisor yesterday about being able to come down here today, but they let me go I'm free to come back and be a part of class again.
Oh, praise.
So, want to say a special shout out. We got a little prayer for a partner of mine that's working with bringing in the truth. And it turns out he already knows some people, maybe even related to people that are already in our camp. So I'm just working with him, trying to get him home because he want to know and be down here. But he had some surgery the other day. Just want to say we give out some prayers for him. Surgery. Milton, right on.
And while you are giving out prayers, y'all want to send shouts out and ask the worldwide family. Shalom, y'all. Hold down over there, y'all. Ask the worldwide family, as well as locally, to send up prayers for Ema Bars. She's involved in a car accident yesterday. They doing okay. Her and her husband missed her. They doing okay. Just a little banged up a bit, so y'all, the way she take care of us, let's get up some prayers so we can get her taken care of as well.
Okay, I think I got everything covered, so I'm going to get right into this. So, I got two scriptures that I didn't give the brothers that I want to open this up with before I even sit down. Okay, I'm going in the book of Jasher. I'm going to read chapter 34, 4 verses, and then 1 verse in 35, okay? In the book of Jasher, chapter 34, verse 63, and the sons of Jacob sent unto their father Isaac, the son of Abraham.
Let's get caught up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing this in my intro.
I mean, are you reading the whole thing?
No.
Or what you doing?
Just the quick ones, the more nitty quick you wrote down there?
No, I didn't write these down.
Okay.
And the sons of Jacob sent unto their father Isaac, the son of Abram, to Hebron. The same is Kirith-Abra, saying, Pray, we beseech thee, for us unto the Lord our God, to protect us from the hands of the Canaanites who are coming against us,
and to deliver them into our hands. And Isaac, the son of Abraham, prayed unto the Lord for his sons, and he said, O Lord God, thou didst promise my father, saying, I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven. And thou didst also promise me, and establish thou thy word. Impress the hearts of the kings and their people, verse 67. I skipped up to 67. And impress the hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and bring down their pride, that they may turn away from my sons. The next chapter, verse 12. And God saw all his works, and swore unto him, and promised him that he would deliver his sons and all his seed from every trouble. And all his seed. So from then, I ain't finished this yet. So from back then, when Abraham and Isaac was praying, the Lord said that I would deliver your sons and all his seed from every trouble that would befall them. Okay? So, my other quick verses.
What did you stop at?
12, 35 and 12.
So you started at 34 and
Yep.
63 and went through 35 and
12, yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing.
So, the last one I'm going to read before I sit down. I'm in chapter 19, verses 42, 43, 44, and 45. And the people of those cities...
that's Jasher.
Do you just want to read it?
Yeah, that's all I was doing. I'm giving an introduction. Yeah, that's why I said I didn't even give y'all these. These are my introductory scriptures.
Okay, Jasher.
Right.
Jasher.
This is Jasher. Yeah.
And 42, 43, right?
Right. Yeah, 1942 through 45. And the people of those cities, this is the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. And the people of those cities assembled and brought out the young woman and anointed her with honey from head to foot. This is Lot's daughter, y'all. Okay? And anointed her with honey from head to foot. And the judge decreed, and they placed her before a swarm of bees, which were then in their hives. And the bees flew out upon her and stung her, that her whole body was swelled. And the young woman cried out on account of the bees. But no one took notice of her or pitied her. And her cries ascended to heaven. And the Lord was provoked at this and at all the works of the cities of Sodom. And they had abundance of food and had tranquility among them, and still would not sustain the poor and the needy. And in those days their evil doings and sins became great before the Lord. And the Lord sent for 2 of the angels that had come to Abraham's house to destroy Sodom and its cities. Okay? The reason why I wanted to start there, you all, is because, like everybody else, we know what's happening. And we know what's happening. We know what's still happening. Ice Cube became famous of a saying of his. He said, I got something to say. Well, I got something to say. But I'm letting the Lord speak for me. Okay? Everything that we always do, no matter what. Because when I saw that video for the very first time, we all remember the very first time we saw that video.
What video?
Okay? Of George Floyd. That's who I thought of first. Lot's daughter. Immediately, as I'm watching this man still with breath in his body, with no strength to breathe, I immediately thought about Lot's daughter as he died, and I said, this one is. To me as a man, as a man in this land of our captivity, a man who knows why we are here, A man who knows and have experienced it, just like any of, I'm no different, but blessed to have been seen through it. How do I and Ariel get shot at, and I return fire, and I'm the one facing attempted murder charges?
And I'm the only witness.
Okay, so the point is, I felt myself, this one it. I'm finna see the Lord move something. About a day later, he said, nigga, you forgot who I am? So, he reminded me of who he was. Now I'm gonna show y'all what he reminded me of, okay? There's a difference, so let's get started. We going back to why we got here as the basis, that we don't forget. That we do not forget why we are here in the first place. We are the ones that understand that. So we gonna run right through why we here real quick, and we're gonna start out in the book of Jubilees with Moses on top of Mount Sinai. Okay? It's chapter 1, verses 1 through 25. Here, I'll hand you mine. I ain't gonna try to be late, so.
And where you going in here?
From 1 to 25.
Chapter 1, 1 through 25?
Yes, sir. Then it'll be Genesis 15, 12 through 18.
You got it over there, 2 by? I might have it in here then. I do have it. I do have it. I did, but then it's
277.
277. I thought I had it. I had it in a small, but it's okay. It might read different though.
It's the same as what I got on the board.
Okay. We're going to start our reading in the book of Jubilees, chapter 1, starting at verse 1. Let's get some understanding, family. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, 2450 Anno Mundi, that Yah spake to Moses, saying, come up to me on the mount, and I will give thee 2 tables of stone of the law and of the commandment, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up into the mount of Yah, and the glory of the Most High abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the glory of the Most High was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. And Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights. And Yah taught him the earlier and the latter history of the division of all the days of the law and of the testimony. And he said, incline thine heart to every word which I speak to thee on this mount, and write them in a book, in order that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I established between me and thee for their generation this day on Mount Sinai.
Who doing wrong? Him or us?
Of course.
Keep reading.
Verse 6. And thus it will come to pass when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and in all their actions. And they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And you want some of that?
Yeah, just that truly, you know, just that simple. If he say, if y'all just recognize, even when you ain't even thinking about me, I'm standing right there with you. If you just recognize I have truly been with you. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't even thinking about it. Read on.
Verse 7. Verse 7. And do thou write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day. For I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swear to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied. And they will turn to strange gods, to gods which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them, for they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them. And they will walk after the Gentiles, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their gods. And these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances, and my commandments, and my festivals of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my holy place which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary, which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as they go astray, and they will sacrifice their children to demons, and to all the works of their error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the law. They will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything so as to work evil before my eyes. And I will hide my face from them.
Read that one more time.
And I will hide my face from them.
One more time.
And I will hide my face from them.
Okay.
And I will deliver them into the hand of the Gentiles for captivity, and for a prey, and for devouring. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the Gentiles. And they will forget all my law, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, and Sabbaths, and festivals, and Jubilees, and ordinances. And after this, they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart, and with all their soul.
Hold up right there. Now, do y'all see what we just read? That is exactly where we are.
That's right.
Now I'm going to further expound on this. But do you all see right now that that is exactly where we are? Because we already know we're in the land. Okay, we already know, for those of us that do know the truth, and why we're here, like I said. But see, you see, like I say, this is world-changing event that happened here. Okay? So, to keep this moving, there's cases that are popping up now from all over the planet that the same thing done happened. So now we go, 4 years ago, y'all did a nigga like this in England. Now his sisters and family can say the same thing that happened to my brother. We've been fighting for 4 years to get attention to it, and we got it. And thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are coming out now over there for that brother, right? Okay, so now Black Lives Matter? Huh?
Not from what I see.
My life mattered to me when I came out the womb. I'm the firstborn son. The Most High say I'm holy. My life matters. But now, but the same thing that we have to fight for, let's keep going.
Yeah, okay. I'm on 15. I know where I am. I was just going to expound on what he said, but I'm going to keep this rolling. Verse 15. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will dwell with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them nor fail them, for I am the Most High, their El Elyon.
Anyone in here feel forsaken? Huh? Do you all feel forsaken by him? Woo. The people in the audience cannot hear y'all shake y'all head. No, I don't feel forsaken.
Nah.
Okay? So the point is,
We should have been dead.
Exactly. So the point is, who out here feels forsaken? Who's out here in the street feeling forsaken? I'll expound on that, because what are you hearing? What are you hearing? It's what you ain't hearing. It's what you ain't hearing. Read on.
Verse 18. And Moses fell on his face and prayed and said, O Yahweh, my power, do not forsake thy people and thy inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies.
We were still at home. Well, we ain't even made it home yet. We just got delivered the first time.
Yes, sir.
We just got delivered. This is golden calf time. Y'all remember that? This is golden calf time while he up there conversing with the Most High. What's going on down at the bottom of the mountain?
Yes, sir.
Okay? Read on.
Do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. Let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and let not the spirit of Beliar rule over them to accuse them before thee, and to ensnare them from all the paths of righteousness, so that they may perish from before thy face. But they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered with thy great power from the hands of the Egyptians. Create in them a clean heart and a holy spirit, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity.
So, we are the ones that got that clean heart and new spirit that Moses was talking about. Because we're not a part of this. You see the difference? Okay? You see the difference? What Moses asked the Lord to do, that's where we are that remnant that has to continue on throughout all these generations. If he told you, I'm going to put them in the hands of the Gentiles, It came to pass, didn't it? But he said, I never leave my people nor forsake my people. Did he? So that's why we going back to the root of why we ended up here in the first place. So for that reminder. Let's go.
Verse 21. And the Most High said unto Moses, I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff-neckedness, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers.
Save your breath, Mo. Save your breath, Mo. Read on.
And after this, they will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of the heart of their seed. And I will create in them a holy spirit, and I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day unto eternity.
So you see right here where I say that we are right here at this part because the Lord say he is going to do that to his people, right? But it ain't happened yet. But you still look at the masses of people now. Just think, all I want y'all to keep concentrating on is masses of people around this world that have come together for this one cause. The masses. We know that the scripts say there are going to be uproars and uprisings amongst the people, right? But the end is not yet. We still are right into that. It's like there's a kicking off point.
Right.
Yes, thank you. And to me, you're right. As a man, I speak to you all. I honestly believe in my heart that this is going to set the stage of the change that kicks in, the beginning coming in. When you got the whole planet, the whole entire planet, like I say, now Black Lives Matter, and what a nigga saying? It's just getting it on film now. Y'all think right. Do you think about before there was a cell phone to have a camera, that stuff started getting captured? Forget that. Think about the 70s. Brothers getting chased in leather coats and hush puppies and afros down the street. For what? When there was no one to stand up for them. When there was no one that stood between them and that back alley with that police officer. You understand? Like Daniel would talk about Chief Moke was notches in his gun that he was proud of for his kills. You understand what I'm saying? These are, you niggas is too stupid to realize you ain't nothing but a trophy. Your whole entire life ain't nothing but a trophy that they would hang on the mantle if they could. And instead of a deer being hanging up there, you go in there and there'd be 5 nigga heads.
Oh.
There's little Leroy right there, there's little Willie. I got Rufus, and there goes Skillet. I got them all. Trophies, mounted.
Mount Judah, huh?
Exactly. Read on.
Verse 23. And their souls will cleave to me, and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I will be their father, and they shall be my children. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohim.
He said all.
All.
Okay? So that all means we know that it's not literally every person that's of the 12 tribes of Israel that is alive today is going to wake up like that and turn to him. Right. There's going to be more of them that things like this has to happen for them to wake up. Okay, and my point about this whole class is that if the whole world is together right now, what do you think the message would be if we could get that message out? Like Black Lives Matter's message has finally gotten out. Look how they got Trump back. Woo, boy, hallelujah for that one. To paint that street right there and name it Black Lives Plaza in front of the White House that Trump has to go through now. You see that? But the point is that if the message of wake up Jacob, this is who you are, this is why you're going through what you're going through, and that message got spread from person to person, to city, just like this death message got spread. Just like this death message that everybody is come together for around the world now, and police officers are speaking out and telling us who we are. We know who you are. I saved a video from a cop that said, this is the reason why. This is why we beating y'all down. You understand? So just think about the message. It's all about the message. But like I said, it's what you ain't hearing. Read on. Let's keep moving through this, because I definitely want to get through this today.
Verse 24. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohim, and every angel and every spirit shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them.
That's right. All right.
And you want this 25?
25. Get your Genesis 15, 1 through...
that was 24.
12 through 18.
Those numbers was off from that. It was 25.
25, I'm sorry.
Is it?
Get 25. Do the 25.
I got my 25 says, and do thou write down for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days in the law, and in the testimony, and in the weeks and the jubilees, unto eternity, until I descend and dwell with them throughout eternity.
So, for eternity is from then, he said, until I come back. So we're in that eternal realm, but when he come back, he said for all eternity. Okay? Read on.
You want some more?
No, Genesis 15.
No, I was just saying, it's like it read exactly the same, but I think they split a verse.
They must have.
Number, and it made it 25 be 26.
Genesis 15, 12 through 18.
Reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 15 and verse 12. And it reads, you there, bro?
Go ahead. I ain't saying that. Read straight through.
Okay, that's what I heard. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Sound familiar? And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it, and when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day, the Most High made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
That's the first witness to the first captivity. The second witness right here is where we're going now. I am finna talk. What we're doing here, I'm gonna call these out. So it's on Daniel to read. Yeah. So I'm gonna stay right with you. I'm just gonna call these verses because we're only hitting certain verses.
What are you doing?
We started at 15 through 16, and then it's gonna be 19, Deuteronomy 28. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Huh? What'd you say?
28 start at 15?
Yes. So, right here, matter of fact, back that up to 13. 13 will explain 15. What it is that we know that we seen the first captivity, and then the Lord, what we're getting ready to look at here is certain verses of the second captivity of the one that we were in. So these certain verses that we're going to read are pertaining to us, what we see and go through today, but I'm still keeping it as minimum as I can. But this is the flip side of the disobedience of the Lord, say, if you don't do this. So the 13 and 14 is that final warning, and then the 15. So just start at 13 through 16 for me, please.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods, to serve them. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
19 and 20.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursings, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do.
Now see that simple rebuke right there. That's as simple as a white woman calling a 911 on somebody barbecuing in the park. That's rebuke. That's telling you you're not allowed to live. You're not allowed to do anything but what I tell you to, and you're only supposed to be in this certain situation. But see that simple rebuke? I watched Roland Martin's white women going crazy. There was so many videos. I laid in bed all day. I went to work that Tuesday and saw two white women and trembled. Straight up, on my job. I pulled up to this house, saw two white women walking down the street, and I was, then I had to reassess the situation. But see, it made me think that way. Look at me. I'm a Judah. You understand? I'm supposed to be a warrior here in the land of my captivity. Huh? That's what we would do, that rebuke. Go hard on a nigga, but a little white woman, terrifying. Does that make sense?
No.
So I'm under a curse, right? Okay, keep reading.
Until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
23 to 26.
23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them. And thou shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcass shall be meat unto the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Okay, so right there in that section here about the brass and iron, we know that when this has gotten a lot of brothers when breaking this off in truth, where you literally,
If they don't understand that, show them. Take them outside. Stand them on some earth, some green grass. Tell them, you're standing here on green grass, but the scripts say there's going to be iron. And the heaven above these is going to be brass, right? So when you get them to understand that concept, that means that I'm standing on something hard and something hard above me. That's a cage, right? But it's also, so that's physical of us being the most populated in jails and all that, with the status of us being minorities and we make it the majority of the prison system. But then, and also spiritually, is that what we set our hands to do, that we just can't never get through there. We always thinking maybe next year will be my year. Striving to get beyond these bills, get to a certain point in life where I done work now to start seeing some of the fruits of my labors. You understand? If you're not working to understand the difference between a man who works all his life to start seeing the fruits of his labors, and you ain't out here doing. Say shit. So anyway, the point is that when you start seeing, and you like Daniel saying, which Ish made him understand, you working for yourself. You're the one get up out the bed every morning.
Yes, sir. You're
the one have to go to bed at a certain time at night so you get to sleep to make sure you can get through that next day. That's what you have to do, and ain't nobody doing that for you. So when you see these people out here that just grown men, expect you to take care of them, feed me, drink me, clothe me, have me a place to lay my head down, have some lights on and heat and gas for me, and what are you doing? Standing out on the corner for a living. Hey brother, can I get a dime for a cold one? Huh? Got his hands out like I own. Read on.
Verse 27. The Lord,
29 and 32, I'm sorry.
Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
See that?
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
Y'all remember that now, y'all, that no man shall save thee? Okay, I'm coming back to that. Give me 36 through 37, then 41 and 45 through the end.
Verse 36 of Deuteronomy 28. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all the nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Nigga.
Yeah. Coon.
Jungle bunny.
Spiritual.
Spade.
Black.
Jigaboo.
Bush monkey.
Crip.
African
American.
Blood.
First of all. So we see that's what Ahmaud Arbery and Barack Obama have in common. They're the true African Americans. But you see how Ahmaud Arbery is getting the same respect because that man has a life. I don't care what nation you came from. You were gunned down and killed like a dog. You were hunted down. Okay, you were a human being that the Most High created. Okay, so it don't matter what nation you came from. It's the nation that you was in, you got caught up in. Just think about that, I'm gonna call him a Chinese boy. All right, standing out there not doing nothing. Okay, his fat head standing out there not doing nothing. I thought about him. Boy, you done pledge allegiance to the wrong God. That's your tale. Because you just stood there. I mean, you ain't had not even, aside from the fact that you didn't do nothing to stop it.
Tail.
Yeah, so you stood there and you gonna say, well, I'm gonna get charged. You know that's what he was saying. I didn't do nothing. That's right, you didn't do nothing.
Right.
That's why you got charged with accessory. You got charged with accessory for not doing nothing. So when you sitting there in that cell thinking about them pledges of allegiance that you pledged to, that got you caught up following in behind that whiteboard. That's what I'm talking about. Read on.
Verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume. Go down to 40.
You go 45 to 68.
45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
A yoke of iron upon thy what?
Neck.
Read
Until
on.
he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So we understand that we are in the land that the nation's symbol is this eagle. And we know that we did not speak any English before we were ever brought here. We don't even know what our language was to say what it truly, other than the Hebrew from what we came from. But the fact of what were we speaking when the slaves sat on this seashore? You understand what I'm saying? Where they still, we know they beat Kunta Kinte out of Toby. You understand what I'm saying? So we see the example of this man being beaten out of his name. We're going to take your very name from you. We took your God. We took everything else, and we're going to take your name and give you ours.
Well, you know what, man, that's funny that we even talking about that, because I can remember distinctly being in the 8th grade and saying, why is black history only beginning at the slave shores? Where did we come from to get to the slave shore?
Right.
You had no answer.
No answer
No
until
answer.
I came into
No
the
answer.
truth.
No answer.
Right, and just think how many other people, when they think about it, don't really know past that point who we truly are.
But he say, I knew you before the foundations of the earth were.
That's right.
So I knew what you was gonna be and what you was gonna do. Okay, so when you see that somebody else, that's just the bottom line. Because the bottom line is the Lord is telling you, is you as being my people, and there's what's the rest of the world? Unbelievers. And we cannot be yoked with an unequal unbeliever.
Yep.
We can't go through this world with unbelievers. Bottom line, we have to separate ourselves from unbelievers. We put work in. That's why he sent us out to put work in to make believers. But it's not a prejudice thing that if you don't believe it, look, there it is right there. Y'all ever heard that saying, if you don't go to my church, you're going to hell?
Yeah.
Okay? So the last time I heard that saying from someone, if you don't go to my church, you're going to hell. I said, what about the people that live on the other side of town that don't know your church exists? So you're telling me that your congregation is the only church on this planet that's going to heaven. And then they realize how stupid they sound. You understand? How is your church? I ain't never heard of your church should be 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue then. That the whole world know where it is.
That's right.
The whole world, like Jerusalem. That's what your church should be. if you don't go to my church, you going to hell.
People get caught up in their cliches.
Exactly. And don't have a
They don't even know
clue
what
what they
they
speak.
speak.
Co-breeding tabernacle.
That's it.
Co-breeding tabernacle.
The Lord dwells in.
Right.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
So y'all remember when we started out here about Lot's daughter, when they discovered that she was the one feeding them and they busted her for feeding them, they took the bread out of the man's hand. This how low down they was. They was trying to starve the man out because they say 3 days he'll be dead with no food. 3 days had passed, he was still looking good. So they set a watch. They said he should have been dead by now. So when they set a spy out there and set and caught Lot's daughter coming, they said, okay, now we know why he's still living. So when they apprehended her, she had already given the man the bread to eat. They snatched the bread out the man's hand. So now we starting your clock. We gonna make sure you die. You done already had your last meal. That's what we talking about. So why do we keep reading the Lord say? Why do we keep reading the Lord say until I have destroyed thee? All these curses shall come upon you until I have destroyed thee. Why is he so bent on destroying thee? For what? Disobedience.
That's right.
Disobedience. He said, I'm gonna bring my people back. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. But what did he keep saying here? Till I have destroyed thee. Keep reading.
Verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trust throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
I don't care about them children, right? Can we see that? Don't we see this? I made them. You take care of them. Them ain't mine.
You say you delicate.
You a skeezer. Right. What a real man do? He ain't soft and he ain't delicate.
Get your delicate brother.
Right. Keep reading.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he has nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not have ventured to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Elohim, thy power, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful.
All right, bro.
Yeah. and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy power.
You see how hard the consequences are for disobedience. When he say, I'd rather have obedience than sacrifice.
That's right.
We are so hard-headed that we'll take this butt whooping. Willfully. For what? The little simple cares of this world, of this life, compared to what he's saying, what he got for you? If you just be good?
Yes, sir.
If you just be good, what you got, bro?
Partial disobedience is disobedience.
Yes, sir.
Bottom line. People don't understand that. See, that's why when you compare, like, why do you think he say about the preachers? For verily they have their reward. They got theirs right now. And it ain't even reward time. How you got yours before he give it out? You got your mansion. You made your own. And he already covered that. Verily they have their reward. But what did he tell you? In my Father's house are many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you. So, how you gonna get your key? What's your address? How you gonna, all that comes with what he said. For this life, the little simple obedience that he asked for. Just keep my commandments, nigga.
Yes, sir.
My statutes, my judgments, and my laws. Because y'all sin, I had to give y'all this to live. That's all he asked.
That's right.
And we choose of us who believe to say, we trying to do that, Lord. We understand what it is. We know what it is. I want to come home. I'm the prodigal son. I came home. He had room for me. You understand? Because we didn't know. But now that we know, what we gonna do? Because what you want? You want this sin? You want this sin to be your heaven now? Or you want to get to the real kingdom, no sin? Bottom line. Keep reading.
Verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you.
Stop. You know what rejoicing is, right?
Sure.
Hey! My son graduated high school. Hey! My son graduated college. I'm rejoicing over him, right? Just like he rejoiced over us to do good, he's gonna rejoice like our parents when they really was tearing our tails up and was getting in there good, whooping that tail, how good that was to them. They knowing you getting this lesson because you did something that bad,
right,
that they getting this off on you. That's what he say. I'm gonna be happy whooping your tail. I'm gonna rejoice to whoop your tail. I'm gonna rejoice. I'm gonna be happy about correcting you. So, who are we seeing getting this correction?
Sir.
Let's keep reading.
And to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou go to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Some ease.
No ease.
Dis-ease.
No rest. The amount of people that talk about simply being pulled over for nothing by the cops for no reason at all, and they have a way that they word stuff. It's just like when they're whooping your ass and they tell you to stop resisting. That's just so that it can be heard. So when they play the tape back, there it is right there. He was resisting. He was resisting. We were telling them stop resisting. They say things to lure you into something. When you find out, I ain't got to tell you nothing. You don't have the right to just pull me over for nothing and detain me and search my car. Well, we have a rash of robberies in the neighborhood. Show me your police report then. Show me the rash of robberies. Because by the time my lawyer get done with you, your ass better be robbing a rash around this neighborhood to prove what you say to pull me over. Right. To say I'm just walking down the street. Well, we had a rash of robberies in the neighborhood and we just want to detain you for a minute. No, you can't do that.
Dennis used to say that to us all the time.
Yeah. But we didn't know no better then, did we? But I'm not saying stand up for your rights and all that kind of stuff. But we talking about the Lord first. He the one that's what Christ is for. That's what Christ is for. You ain't got to go through that. Because how often do we really have to go through it? What is worshiping him for if he ain't keeping the dog's office? Right. You understand? What is worship him for and all the things that he said I'm gonna do to you? He didn't say die and then you get your reward. Nigga, you worshiping me now. You got reward coming now. You got protection from me now. You got everything that I say I'm gonna do for you now. Because I need you. I need you. Because we need him, right? Why is he called us saints? Why are the words that we're reading, we're seeing? That's my point. In these days, if he don't cut it off, it ain't even got started yet. These are just niggas getting killed in the street. I'm not saying nothing negative about that, but there is a difference.
That's right.
Bottom line is, and because he tells us it's a difference. What do you want? He said, I lay down for you life and death. Choose life that you may live.
That's right.
Bottom line, we chose to choose because he called us and chose us. And we knew what it was. What do you think? Why call us if we know we ain't gonna do that? Like Saul. He said, it repented me that I made Saul king. You see what I'm saying? You see that difference there, though. See that difference there. Let's finish this up.
Yeah, let me just say this too quickly on that response. When you're talking about resisting arrest, see, like you're saying, when they do that, they holler, stop resisting. But y'all, once again, if you get caught up into what's called word etymology, resistance has many different forms. When you choking a man and you're saying stop resisting, it's impossible because the body won't allow you to stop resisting. Right. It's like choking in your sleep. You're gonna wake up, or somebody's gonna wake you up. You choking, you need some water.
Survival.
Your body's gonna kick in.
It's survival instincts automatically. It's fight or flight.
What did Bruce Banner say? An Incredible Hulk. Don't make me mad.
Daily man.
You know,
you don't want to see me when I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? But that's what he's saying. Your body take over.
Yeah.
He couldn't. His whole thing. He was trying to control what was inside of him.
Right. But see, they know, the police know it's a natural reaction for your body to fight back. Right. So naturally you're gonna be flopping around, and they're gonna put the cuffs on tight and hit you across the head even more. Because the mayor of Mississippi said, you know, if you can talk, you can breathe. Right. That's where their mindset is with this. If you can talk, you can breathe. That's understandable, but when the body is being a different way, and like you say, when you're cutting off oxygen and blood, it's not that you just can't breathe from just that side, but when you're slowly cutting the oxygen off to the blood, it's the same thing. You won't be able to breathe after that because no oxygen in the blood is death. And they cutting the oxygen off to the brain. It's not a chokehold like this. What it is just massing, it's just squeezing that blood vessel, just keep squeezing and cut it off. Then the blood can't get up to your head, now you're dizzy and you feel like, I'm getting ready to leave here, I'm dying. And this boy just kept grinding on.
And readjusting his
You ain't felt pressure yet. Hold on, let me put my hands in my pockets.
Right.
Get some real grinding on.
Grab his left nut and squeeze.
Boy, And then the other two holding him down, they got their knee in his back. So not only that,
They pinned him in.
they're cutting the blood supply off to the lower part of the body and to the upper part of the body.
You can't, I challenge anybody in here to sit here and take shallow breaths for a minute.
Boy,
You gonna get lightheaded.
You're going to get lightheaded. Verse 66.
Yep.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
Look at how many black women, mothers, sisters, daughters, that are saying, I fear my brother leaving his house. I fear my son walking down the street. I fear my nephew. And everybody is talking, when I say these black women, because the men's are saying, or everybody's saying it, but when you hear it from a woman's voice, when, like this one lady I watched last night, they were elderly, and she told her brother, don't go out his house tonight because of all this stuff that going on. He went out there and got done in.
My son
They killed
in
him.
that situation.
Right.
He
She
had
told him
to
it's
jump
too much
off
stuff
the
going on in these streets.
Because he waiting on his sister at the bus stop. And this school bus stop is a known drug spot. So he's standing there waiting on Lex to get off the bus. Jump off boys roll up, got their gun to his head. I'm looking out the window trying to find shoes and all. He was on stuff.
See?
Yeah.
Yep. See?
At that time, I think he was like 12,
Right.
13.
Mm-hmm. See, there was a little 12-year-old boy I want to tell you about. They got, the police called on him in a department store, the department store accused him of stealing, and he ain't stole nothing. And he 12 years old, he whipped out his phone and filmed it, and there was like 8 cops in there. And he's like, he's straight blowing. He blew so hard in them cops, there was another video, little 12-year-old apologizes, because his mama must have seen it. Because he was cussing him out left and right. Look at y'all, look stupid. He doing all that FaceTime and stuff. Look at all these grown men up here, me and my mans and them done stole something. You know what I'm saying? He talking all like that. And they just standing there and they can't, there was no might in their hand. Because we were called in here because they said you stole something and we got you and you ain't stole nothing. So what can they do but let him go? But they just held him in that store to make a display out of him. Yeah, these little niggas in here stealing, right? No matter, they was free, but they still wanted the people to have that impression that we came here and got this. And he just blowing, calling them, cussing them out. I mean, railing a 12-year-old, and they ain't supposed to be speaking like that, but they cops. And all of them was white, and they couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say a word all the way out the door.
And let me say this too, bro. And see, a lot of this, everything we're reading, is because of, like I say, word etymology. We get caught in things and we take plea deals because most of us can't afford a lawyer, you know, so, and they know these type things. But the bottom line is we're training our children what to say when we go out on the streets, but we're not training them on the basic law of the land.
Right.
Look, you still may run into that problem, but the basic law of the land, knowing that I don't have to say nothing, you know, that's the law. You don't have to say anything. And then when they go to arrest you, you know, and you're saying why you pulled me over, it's basically the instructions to tell you when to say anything. You can't say nothing out on Highway 40 and no street lights out there and it's full police. That's right. Ain't no need talking tough then.
Right.
You know, asking for badge numbers and that, just get the ticket.
That's why the scripture tells us to agree with our adversary.
And leave, take the ticket and leave so you live another day. But you have to understand these rules because of what curses we're under. You got to know how to maneuver through. Because of what we're reading here, then we don't stand a chance.
Right.
You know, and we know he didn't put us in this situation
More than we can handle.
Not to stand or be able to stand a chance. Like he said, he ain't never forsaken us. You just gotta know how to deal with the law when you get in a position, you know, with their law, you know, because you start, you know, doing everything. You can put your hands on the steering wheel. All that's good advice from our parents. But if you don't know what to say, your parents is telling you, don't say nothing to you till they let you call me. Or don't you open your mouth till we get a lawyer, because by the time your parents get there, the plea deal's already said, you coming out the door, I'm free. How you get free? I took 25. Months of probation.
And then they come back at you the next day because they know they put you on probation, and all they got to do is mess with you to make you break your probation.
Yes, sir. Verse 67. In the morning thou shalt say, would Yah it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would Yah it were morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
See, and that real quick is the dis-ease that we are in this land means that we can't sit still, and we never satisfied where we at, because where we at ain't right. See, it's like, man, I can't wait to get off, right? So then you get home, and we always talking about, man, tomorrow, I can't wait for this, I can't wait. But we ain't never happy where we at, because the state of this curse that we in, we don't have a resting spot. Just like this location salvation where you gonna run to, where we can't even sit still and be satisfied where we at.
Yeah.
You see the cops come up in your house. So if they can come up in your house, where else is there we can go? Nowhere. Where else is that we can go if they can go anywhere we can, and when we ain't got no legal rights to say nothing about nothing? That's the point. Because we here, we ain't gonna be restful and ease till we at home.
That's right. Because they sure come on the rock and do some compound.
Sure.
Just to look around.
Just to look around. Because they still saying, yeah, you paying taxes on the land, but we still own it.
Right.
We still own it. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So no man, us being sold here for slaves, and nobody buying our freedom. Just because the physical shackles are off our bodies, the spiritual.
You haven't bought the curse.
Exactly. That even though we are free to move around, we're still slaves. We're still being traded as commodity on the stock market. Okay? So with the prison system. So we're still in cave and in captives, even physically. But the point is that the only man that's going to buy our freedom is the Messiah. And that's the only man that we know, right? So if you're not looking to him, who you looking to for your salvation? Who's going to save you? We just read, no man. No man. So if you're not looking to the man, you're looking at the devil. Bottom line. You're looking at the devil because that's the only other alternative. So let's call it what it is. All right? Now, this Matthew 27, y'all go to Job 15.
Job?
Yeah, book of Job 15, the whole chapter. This Matthew, I'll do this myself, it's one verse. I'll go ahead and read it. The Matthew 27 and 15. This is where I said this before, that in classes and stuff that I've recently taught with some understanding, that I was going to start referring and constantly reminding us of who Annas and Caiaphas was, the two high priests. Okay? Annas being Al Sharpton, Caiaphas being Jesse Jackson, as for our examples today. But what we're going to see, because I'm hitting on one of them as well today, but what we're seeing here, as always, like I said, in this Matthew 27, verse 25, it says, then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. So we know that when Pilate had the Messiah in front of him, and Annas and Caiaphas was charging the Messiah, and Pilate said, he's innocent, I find no fault in this man, right? There's a whole lot of brothers that died in the streets that were faultless. right? Okay, but when they said this to Pilate then, they declared it and took this curse upon themselves and said, this curse be upon us and our children and our children's children. So if they're saying, if that curse, we know it didn't say it was going to stop after so many generations, did it? Did they, the curse that they put, they say we going to end it? They cursed themselves, right? So these are their people. These are their children who have nothing to do with our Messiah. These are the ones that know he exists, and I choose not to find you while I have breath in my life and my body. I was talking to one girl, and she was saying, yeah, because we got to get it together. We got to get it together. You know, and then when we die, and I said, what the hell is that? You know. No, I don't know. I say, so you're telling me, exactly, when you die, you're saying you're going to get more chance and be in a better position to get it right, to go on to the kingdom? Yeah. Where did you come from with that? Who told you that? How are you basing your whole life on, I'm going to wait to die?
God's a little stone.
But they ask you, but they don't listen. I know you got something to say. I know you got something to say about this virus. I know. Just tell me. And you never get to open your mouth. Are you going to listen?
Right.
You come to me for the advice of what's going on in the world because you know we deal with the Lord and in the Bible, but that's why you ain't a part of everything, because you just ain't listening.
Right.
Okay, let's keep going, y'all, because we got some good stuff. What we're going right now is the Job 15. All of them are going to go Isaiah 10, 1 through 27.
No, I'm just saying, because you sent the whole chapter. Right?
Lazarus, put your tail up here.
We good, man.
That's 35.
We all right.
I know.
Job chapter 15, verse 1. Right there.
Go ahead, not me. I'll get there.
Yeah, just you there, dude.
Right up there by Psalm.
Yeah. I was in Ezekiel and Isaiah. I'm there.
All right. Job chapter 15, verse 1. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said, should a wise man utter vain knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with the unprofitable talk or with speeches wherewith he can do no good?
So, then we say, should a wise man utter vain knowledge or fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? So who them people? Yeah. Because I still ain't understood how, like, I'm using him for an example, because just as an example, you know, Michael Jordan come out and say, I'm gonna dedicate $100 million over 10 years to organizations to help, you know, in this. Where's all this money going? It's like fighting cancer. We putting all this money in cancer research. Everybody make donations for cancer research. Everybody do this. Where's the money going? You know what I'm saying? You got $100 million that you got to give away over. You can give that to 100 million niggas. You understand what I'm saying? You could do something that would help. Just think about if Michael Jordan walked in here with all his money and said, here's 30,000 for you.
Give me a pickup truck
Here's 30.
full of Mentos.
Here's 35 for you. You see what I'm saying? Just think about 30. If everybody in here had $30,000 in their hand, how that life would change. What they would be able to do. If you're a good steward with your money, you gonna do what? Pay off all your bills you got hanging over your head, and you gonna set the money up.
If your mind.
If your mind is right. And like I say, I use $30,000 as just as an example. Look what $3,000 would do.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? To just catch you up.
Right. Well, look, you gotta understand though, they use an EBT card in the strip club. Don't give them 30 grand.
Right. See?
Give 30,000 once.
Yeah, it's gonna be raining, they're gonna be broke tomorrow.
So, let's keep going.
Verse 3. Should he reason with the unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? Yea, thou castest off fear, and restrainest prayer before Yahweh. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty.
There's your word etymology right there.
Yeah.
That's your word etymology, the tongue of the crafty.
Slick talk.
That's the devil tongue.
That's slick talk.
Forked tongue.
Why have you chasing words versus the law?
Right. Read on.
Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against thee.
Drew Brees, verse 7.
Art thou the first man that was born? Or was thou made before the hill? Hast thou heard the secret of Yahweh? And dost thou restrain wisdom to thyself?
So what he's talking about to these men, he basically saying, can you do what I do? Huh? With all that slick talking? Were you born back here? Were you able to do this? Were you able to do this? Are you able to do any of the things that I do? With your fat mouth. With your fat mouth. So he's checking them right here. Keep reading.
Verse 9. What knowest thou? What we know not? What understandest thou? What is not in us? With us are both the gray-headed and very aged men, much elder than thyself,
From thy father.
than thy fathers. Are thy consolations of Yahweh small with thee?
Small
with thee?
Hold on.
Why does thine heart carry thee away? And what do thy eyes wink at? That thou turnest thy spirit against Yahweh, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth.
Boy.
What is man that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman that he should be righteous? Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinketh iniquity like water.
Drinking iniquity like water. Putting seasoning salt on sin. It's not good enough. I got to make it more satisfying. I got to make it more palatable to me. Just stealing is not good. I got to steal.
Make it wickedly sweet.
Right. Wickedly sweet. That's what I got to do. You say you drink iniquity. You drink sin like water. Read on.
Verse 17, I will show thee, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare, which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid, unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travaileth with pains all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor.
Do y'all know what that last part of that means? That the number of years is hidden to the oppressor?
No.
Huh?
Yes. Go ahead.
Your oppressor is the one that your hands is in. George Floyd. Let's read this again. The wicked man travaileth I'm not calling George Floyd a wicked man, so let me get that corrected. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days. And the number of years, whose number of years are there? They're the number of years of the wicked man, right? The number of years is hidden to the oppressor. It's, you only can live as long as I allow you to live.
No.
That's what that means. Your oppressor. We are oppressed here. They kill us at will when they want to and get away with it, right? Say the wicked man. It's the oppressor that your life is in his hands. And he the one snuff it out. Here in this land, where the Lord say, until you be destroyed. See that? So whose hands are our lives supposed to be in? Our lives are supposed to be taken out of the hands of the oppressor. And it's in the hands of the Most High. That's what his son did for us. Right? So you're going to dishonor him? You see what happens when you do. Let's keep reading.
Verse 21. A dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity, the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waiting for of the sword. He wandereth abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand.
See, there's people that live like that. That's what they call, that's not living on the edge. That's what they say, like when you watch a show and they'll say, like, they'll describe homeless people or a particular individual. They say he lived on the fringes of society.
Yes.
That means he lived on the outside of everything. So this means you're homeless and you don't have a job and you're not trying to. You living outside of society. Society says you work. And you have a job and a house and a wife and all that. That's what society, that's what it takes to live in this land.
Yeah.
So some people say, hey, I'm cool with living under a bridge. Like a troll. I'm happy. Okay? Read on.
Verse 24. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him as a king ready to the battle. For he stretcheth out his hand against Yahweh, and stretches himself, and strengtheneth himself against the Almighty.
So how you gonna arm yourself up against the Almighty? Huh? How you gonna arm that's like an ant trying to fight a grown man. How you gonna arm yourself up against him?
Too short to box him down.
Huh? Read on.
He runneth upon him, even on his neck, upon the thick bosses of his buckles, because he covereth his face with his fatness, and maketh collops of fat on his flanks. And he dwelleth in the desolate city, and in the houses which no man inhabiteth, which are ready to become heat. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth.
So y'all see in that verse 28 that, that was literally homeless people living in abandoned houses that are about to be torn down. Y'all see that? And we see that today, right? And we reading about it when? Okay, keep reading.
He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green.
I'm sorry, real quick. That to me was that Black Lives Matter payback for Trump. Them painting that in the street. See his vanity, how he came out and all the things that he said that got everybody against him. I don't even want to mention the man's name or even want to talk about him. He's the stupidest man that ever walked the face of this earth as far as I'm concerned. You could have, with 2 sentences, had this whole thing changed around from the very beginning instead of you adding fire to the fuel to the fire. You understand? You could have said one positive thing, like, I'm gonna put my people on this and make sure it gets investigated. Okay? He would have had every black person in this country loving him and voting for him. But these niggas are still hollering, we gotta get to the ballot box for Joe Biden, who don't even remember his name, where he at, huh? To now, all black people are supposed to vote for Joe Biden, and he don't even know where he is. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. But beside all that, his mental state, and y'all gonna put him up to run the country. Anyway, let's keep going. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Verse 33, he shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive. For the congregation of the hypocrites shall be desolate, and the fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mission and bring forth vanity, and their bellies prepare deceit.
All right, let's hit Isaiah chapter 10, 1 through 27. We ain't gonna be here too much longer, y'all. We going right on through these. Then we make an excellent time.
Isaiah 10 is what?
1 through 27.
Is that still? Is this still on you right?
Yep, it's your second one.
Yep.
He did.
No, we need long like that.
Oh, that's what it is.
I mean, you guys, if you want to do it,
Just make jokes with him like that.
Everybody there?
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
So we see right there it say, woe to them that write unrighteous decrees.
Woe now.
So we don't have the power to write nothing, right? So we know who the ones that are writing these unrighteous decrees because they're aimed at us. We gotta be there when the Most High say they're gonna get paid back double. I want to see it.
It happened with Haman.
You see what I'm saying? And the only way I'm gonna see it, I gotta be a good boy. That's all it is to it. Because I want to see it. I want to see it. Because when we are trapped in these snares and these holes, that's these unrighteous decrees that they write where you can't. They're set up for you for traps. They're just like mouse traps. Down the street, and you driving and you fall into a pothole, you're walking down the street, you step in a mouse trap, there's traps and snares that are laid out there for you. And when people that cannot, it's like us speaking in the pretense of being a Klan member. We have no idea what it's like to be a Klan member, but how are we gonna speak about it? So that's like when these Gentiles say the wrong thing, when y'all should have learned to keep your mouth closed. Because you don't have the words in you to form, to speak out on something like this. You know, so just shut up right now. Just shut up right now. Unless you're talking about telling our people, because you know, trying to wake up some of our people, because there are them Gentiles out there. Okay, let's keep going.
Verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people,
Ferguson.
that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Without me, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. O Assyria, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither does his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he said, are not my princesses altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Carchemish? Is not Haman as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand hath found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and of Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do Jerusalem and her idols. Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Elohim has performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the kings of Assyria, and the glory of his high looks. For he has said, by the strength of my hand have I done it.
Who's saying that? Who is this king that has his glory and high looks that say that I have done this? I'm the Messiah.
Chosen one.
Okay, the chosen one. Who's saying that? Are we not reading this and living this and seeing this today? Keep reading.
For he said, by the strength of my hand have I done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasure. I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man.
That's what he want to do. But they say, hold up, partner. You gonna turn the whole world against us. Why you want to be a tyrant of your own people? You want to be like, because he want to be like Putin. He want that iron fist, like Putin. That's his boy who he look up to.
Yeah.
That's his idol.
Yeah.
That's his God who he worships. But his dumb tail gonna stand up in front of a church with the Bible backwards and upside down?
Yeah.
How foolish you look? Yeah, it was all upside down and backwards. So the whole point is we just read who he is and what he wants, described him to a T.
Is that your Bible? It's a Bible.
It's a Bible. But we know what that was. That was a show of force because he couldn't take, they was calling him bunker boy. So he said he ran to the bunker a couple times.
Yeah, he was in there for 2 days.
Turned out the lights in the White House. The first day that was rattling on the White House fence.
So he smoke bombs. He smoke bomb innocent protesters.
He said,
so he could do a photo
get
op.
trampled with all, get out of the way. And you see how he was walking like a boss down the middle of the street in front of his Secret Service.
It's pretty safe here.
Yeah, he got right there, boy. Like I said, you could have jumped out them bushes and threw them back in them 25-pack black cat firecracker, boy. Trump would have been in St. Louis running so fast.
He said he didn't need a change of presidential draws.
Once they caught up with it.
Keep going.
Verse 14. and my hand has found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth, and there is none that moves the wing or opens the mouth or peep. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? Or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh? As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as the staff should lift up itself as it were no wood. Therefore shall the Elohim of hosts send among his fat ones leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like a burning of fire, and the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thrones as his briars in one day.
Thorns.
Thorns. Devour
As his thorns and his briars in one day, my man. And shall consume the glory of his forest and of his fruitful field.
Fruitful field.
There it is. Both soul and body, and they shall be as when a
Standard bearers.
standard bearer fainteth, and the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Elohim, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
Y'all see that one key word in there, escape? So that means you're being held captive and you got away, right?
Right.
So are those days that are coming, that we will be having to escape from these people. So it's like, no matter that you're in jail, you got to find a way out. At these times, because just like I gave the example of the 2 white women I saw that scared me after watching all the videos when I went to work. Yeah. So you see how all the videos that you see of them are costing us about things that we're doing, just everyday things. But what do they tell us? Don't you go nowhere. Sit down. I'm gonna keep you in here, or I'm gonna keep you out of here. I'm gonna detain you while I'm dialing 911. And it's like, are you serious? You really think I'm gonna stand up here and allow you to control me like that? And I can't even go to my car. No, you stay right there. Stay right there. 911. Yes, I got a black man detained right here. Don't you go nowhere, nigga. You see what I'm saying? So, you gotta escape from them, right?
Don't you go nowhere,
That
they gonna get zapped. You gonna fit the description.
Right, exactly. Because if I did leave, they still gonna grab somebody. So let's keep going.
Verse 21, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob unto the mighty power. But though thy people, Israel, be as the sand of the sea,
Yet
a remnant of them shall return.
Yet a remnant of them shall return. So there's a whole lot more out there that ain't gonna return. Okay? So you better have your receipt for your return.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Keep reading.
The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. For the Elohim, our power of hosts, shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land. Therefore, thus says the Elohim, our power of hosts, O my people that dwellest in Zion, be not afraid of the Assyrians. He shall smite thee with a rod, and shall lift up his staff against thee, after the manner of Egypt. For yet a very little while, and the indignation shall cease, and my anger in their destruction. And the Elohim of hosts shall stir up the scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian
The 25 is
at the
it.
rock of
Wait to finish, but
Oh,
25
red.
is it.
huh?
25 is where you're supposed to stop.
Oh, I thought you said
27.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake again. Keep
I
reading.
thought you said 27.
My bad.
At the rock of Oreb, and as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. It shall come to pass that in that day, that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulders,
Shalom, y'all.
and his yoke from off thy neck. And the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing.
Okay, so he's saying that there's a time that those people, that remnant that's coming up here, that's when that yoke come off. That's when that yoke. So until he come, we yoked up.
Yeah.
Bottom line, because he say ain't no man gonna take this yoke off of your neck but him. But him.
So we all that close from not being able to breathe.
That's right. Because we still got that yoke on our neck. That's it. Oh, I just dropped my bookmark. Deuteronomy 31-3. Now we're going to start seeing a change of the Most High, what he's saying about his people. So we're going to Deuteronomy chapter 31-3. Then I have Jeremiah 31-31 and Hebrews 8-8. We only need to read one of those because they're second witnesses of each other. Then we're going to Luke 21, all.
Reading in the book of Deuteronomy, in the 30th chapter, reading verses 1-3, and it reads, And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Most High thy Elohim hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Most High thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
The key word there being what? Obey. Read on.
Thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Most High thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
Okay, so we see here is where he say, I'm gonna do this. It's because it's gonna be that time. You think this just gonna keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and never get to the kingdom time? He say this like I use that example all the time, just like an old wind-up clock. This is what happened when he started it. Set it down. There you go, Adam. Adam messed it up, but that time now is still clicking. See, it was set up to never have time.
Right.
It was set up with no sun or moon.
Right.
It was set up in perfection. It was created and set up without sin. Right? But because of Adam's transgression, there you go. He wound it up. It's got to run out. We know in 2nd Esdras, he said that death is just like a woman that's pregnant. Her time is going to come. She can't hold back birth. So just like when it's time for a baby to be born, that she can't say, I don't feel like you coming out here now.
Right.
Tomorrow, I'm stanky legging right now in the kitchen cooking.
Right.
Tomorrow. No, the baby say now. Right? That's what the grave is. The grave cannot be held back. It's going to burst out at its given time. Death cannot be held back. So these graves are going to open. This is not just going to keep going, and we're seeing and we're reading. Everything that we see that's going on today, we're reading about it, ain't it? It's just like reading the newspaper. Just like reading the newspaper today. Today's newspaper is what we're reading over 3,000 years ago. Ain't it making sense? Ain't it lining up? Ain't this book prophecy? Ain't we seeing it? Ain't we living it?
Sure.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, where we moving now?
Jeremiah 31,
Yeah.
31.
Jeremiah 31, 31, Hebrews 8 and 8.
You say they're the same, so we're only going to read
We're
one.
going to read one.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 31. It reads, "For this city has been to me as a provocation of mine anger and of my fury from
wait,
the..."
you making me question myself.
31 and 31?
Yeah, Jeremiah.
I'm tripping, I'm at 32, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I ain't the only one be tripping.
We all be tripping.
And he got glasses on.
But now listen, that wasn't a grammatical error. That was in the wrong.
We can stop it,
That's my brother. and I
Now,
love
brothers, it's the Sabbath. It's supposed to be peaceful Sabbath.
it. Yeah, till we get to the parking lot. Reading in the book of Jeremiah,
It's good to be home, y'all.
chapter 31 and verse 31. And it reads this time, "Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah."
Okay, so now we see this one here. The first witness to this is in the Old Testament. The second witness to this, the Hebrews 8 and 8. The point I'm using with this, it's understandable to see this in the Old Testament. He say, "I'm gonna make a new covenant with y'all," because we see there's more book after that, right? There's more book after 31:31 of Jeremiah. But when you see it in Hebrews 8 and 8, he's still talking the same thing. "Behold, I will make a new covenant with you, with the house of Judah and the house of Israel." The point I'm making, Christ was in here, right? This Jeremiah 31:31, this Christ, the candlestick. Here's Hebrews 8 and 8 way out here. Okay? He's still talking about a new covenant. So it shows that not only is after Christ and the covenant that he fulfilled, sin is still in the world. And the Lord is still telling us that even after his son, I'm gonna make a new covenant with y'all.
Right.
And that new covenant is when he come back. It's not going to be until then. And that new covenant is the last covenant. Ain't gonna be no more need for no more covenants. Ain't gonna be no more need for nothing else, but now it's kingdom time. That's new covenant time. That's Hebrews 8 and 8. It's new covenant time. It's kingdom time, because you know what? Because it's judgment time. It's judgment time. Because it has to be, that new covenant can only come after judgment. That new covenant is with those who make it to the kingdom. Here's your covenant. You made it. You're with me now. You did what you were supposed to do. What's the script? How you say it? Good job, well done, sir. Okay, so that's what that is. That's that new covenant. It still has not happened yet. We still have something to look forward to. Christ is behind us in his death and resurrection, and him being at the crib. We still waiting on new covenant time, right? Okay, let's keep going. Let's get Luke 21 all.
But still me?
Yeah. They want to do 200 people.
I'll take it. We're going to be reading in the book of Luke, chapter 21, and we'll start our reading at verse 1.
Then we got to do 3 of them.
What?
After we get that 2 Peter, we don't have to do the Matthews that's coming up.
I ain't got my phone. So
Okay.
I don't have the order no more.
All right.
I have my phone at home. I
So-
don't feel naked either.
So Luke 21 all. Now I got there's something coming up in this Luke 21 that I've been waiting for since the beginning of the class.
You ready? The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 1. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, Of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. For all these have of their abundance cast in unto their offerings of Yah. But she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had. And as one spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, As for these things which ye behold, the days will come, in the which there shall none be left one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived.
That you be not what?
That you be not deceived. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them.
So y'all, we can't go chasing nobody. I don't care what they saying. Because they say, I'm Hamashiach, or I'm Order Melchizedek, that don't mean you chase that. This order, you chase the order because you know it's law, statutes, and judgment. But there's multiple Melchizedek groups out here. There's groups that call themselves Melchizedek after saying they're a reincarnated Melchizedek. Or there's some great one, and a lot of them are chasing Malachi's York doctrine.
He did.
And he, well, he's in the penitentiary.
Still?
But yeah, no, he may have died, I don't know, but he's been on that for years. He may have died, and I don't know. But they're chasing his doctrine, which is the New Wabian doctrine. It just has Melchizedek tied on it. So if you're not looking at that priesthood and Yahweh Shai is sitting on that order of Melchizedek priesthood, if you've been deceived to believe that Melchizedek is still some individual or some mysterious individual that shows up here and there, he say, be not deceived at that. Don't care nothing about them calling themselves Melchizedek. Watch the works. Watch what they teaching and see if they're the true Melchizedek, because a lot of them are putting Christ down now.
Well, he said, many are coming in my name.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep going.
Verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, or 2 white women. Yeah, that's
Zip. That on the parking lot you talking
it. Be not terrified.
Oh my goodness.
For these things must first come to pass.
Right.
But the end is not by and by. Then
I should
said,
remember that. It ain't the end, right?
Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven.
So right here real quick, we seen in 10, it say nation shall rise against nation. What are we seeing right now?
Yes, sir.
Nations coming together. See what I'm saying? We just gonna call it what it is, black and white. We just gonna call it black and white. I ain't going through the tables of nations here. You know, we gonna call it black and white. That's why when I said earlier, now Black Lives Matter. You see what I'm saying? When you got people that are coming together now saying, I didn't know. I see now. I understand now. You still don't understand. All you do is see. You seen him kill him. That's what you saw. But because you saw it, you didn't get it with Rodney King? Huh? You saw him got beat. You saw him about 30 years ago, right? Close to.
But he was doing 100 in a Hyundai, man. Come on.
That's what it was, okay. So the thing is that you see it now. The whole world saw that. And the whole world is responding. And what I'm saying is it's nations together, not against each other now. It's the world against that blue nation. That blue nation of its own that says we run it. Whose streets, what they say here? Whose streets? Our streets. They got in trouble for that during the protests of Jason Stockley. Okay? So, finish it up.
Verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
Whose name's sake?
Yeshua.
Okay? I didn't watch the memorial service. I saw a clip of Fat Albert's speech. Annis. Okay? Yeah. Do you know? Do you? The nigga, he look like a rooster now.
Be flat out.
Yeah, he looked like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? When he turned his head and that comb of that conch he got, I'm like, boy, he looks like a rooster now. So the thing I saw in the speech, what he said was what we just read here. Whose name? Say it again, Ariel. Whose name?
Yeshua's name.
Al said, we gonna rise up in George's name. George's name. George Floyd. Okay? He said that we are now going to rise up as a nation in his name.
So we're going to make him the Messiah?
That's what I'm saying. Huh? See our so-called leaders? This ain't nothing but whether they're black or white of the nations that I'm telling you that are coming together. The problem is the blind leading the blind. There's the blind man right there. How you supposed to be a man of God? That the world, see, even white folks is listening to him now. This is what I'm telling y'all. See, this event here changed things that y'all just sit back and watch for. We reading what is supposed to happen. We're living this. We're seeing this today. But y'all sit back and y'all keep y'all eyes on what's going on. They're like you said a couple weeks ago. Trump doing this, I'm just saying an example. There's smoke and mirrors, that's the term I'm looking for. The smoke and mirrors. Okay, well the smoke done blew away now. The smoke is gone and there ain't no mirror tricks for what's going on. See, the cell phone did this. Blew the smoke away because now it's recorded. So now it's in the light now. And if it took this man, like I said, y'all didn't say nothing about Rodney King. We saw what we saw then, not guilty. And we all
happen again.
Right.
Y'all understand that they're still in their court system. You know why? Because there's no private prosecutors. All the prosecutors work for the state.
Work for the state.
You have to understand that, y'all, all they are is locked up. It's Deuteronomy 19, Numbers 35. They just been moving to a safe zone so the people don't kill them before the trial. Because if they were out, they got them. Hey, y'all, if they got a hold of them people, them crowds out there, if he was in that police station they burned down, they'd kill them in there. But they move them to the safe zone, y'all, until the trial. But the prosecutors could, man, they could play their hands so shallow and leave evidence out, and the next thing you will hear is not guilty.
And the term that they have, they say you can indict a ham sandwich.
Right.
So that means you can bring charges up against anything. So, and see, look, say they make him the sacrificial lamb. That it's like, look, you know, Trump himself, the white man, go sit there and go in his cell, and he the one, and I'm Trump. Look, man, you're gonna have to take this with your team.
Right.
There ain't nothing we can do
Dang.
for this, for you. For what you did, we gonna have to sacrifice you for, because it's the whole rest of the world on your shoulders.
Dang.
So what you gonna do? You ain't got no choice. We got to put this down. Sorry.
And y'all put some money on my books.
Sorry. I mean, and could look and set him up in there lavishly.
And send me
everything, all of that. But you gonna have to lay down for this. If you don't lay down for this,
right,
then what else is gonna happen? The whole world will go up in flames.
Well, like you're saying, and then all our captors, the problem they've always had is if another nation joined with us and help bring it down. And like exactly what you're saying, that's where we're actually seeing all the nations of the world coming to the rescue, so to speak. But you're still dealing with the champions of the killers.
And see the key,
not to be looked at lightly, like they just won't roll over cause,
right?
You know, it's George Floyd Day.
Right, because look, next nigga. Oh, that's all we waiting for. Who next? Knowing it could be us, but that's why we doing what we do, so it ain't us.
It amazes me how he just killed the whole coronavirus coverage.
Right, you think the hospital will be overrun?
What virus? What virus?
Be overrun right now,
That
it
whole
should be.
thing.
Just like what wall? Where's the wall?
Oh, they cutting that down. They've been hacking through them pieces that's up.
What you got?
Just like what you said, they're afraid of other nations teaming up with us. You did like it was in Egypt. After Joseph. The other pharaohs. These
Too many of them.
Multiply.
Right.
Becoming stronger than us and then team up with our enemies. Then you don't become. We got enslaved.
Absolutely. And keep them on lockdown, you know.
The same way with the Civil War.
But yeah, that old Malachi York, he's 74 years old now. He got 135 years in the joint. They got him up in Supermax in Colorado.
What do you do?
Yeah, Lieutenant sent that info. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, no, just child molestation.
Yeah, and supposedly a teacher, preacher. So go ahead.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 21, and we're at verse 13. And it reads, "And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer."
So just let me hit on that a little bit. What it says, settle it in your heart, because we're saying they're coming to kill. It's going to be perilous time. So you may run into another George Floyd situation. And you got to settle it in your heart right now, as I'm going to run and do a super kick on this police to get them off of them. Well, there's 3 more over there with pistols on their side, so what you gonna think gonna happen? You may get them off of him, but what you think gonna happen to you? So you have to settle it in your heart right then.
Not prepared to give my life for this
If you're
man.
ready to give your life, because that's most likely what's got to happen, and you got to settle it in your heart. You got to speak to the Lord and say, I'm attempting to do a righteous thing right here.
Have mercy
and
on
if
me.
it take care of all my family and my children, but that at least has to be said. Or you gonna be as dead and he's gonna be in jail, like they planned on taking him before you interrupt it, so to speak. So we have to settle these things in our heart, y'all, because it's not sleeves on your shoulder, y'all. It's a thing that where it's coming down to life and death. and life and death. Because if we'd have saw them doing our mother or uncle or brother like that, you most likely would have jumped in just thinking about that. But what the Most High is wanting you to understand, I already told y'all I'm putting y'all in this situation, so y'all should be trained up by now how to respond to these situations.
There it is.
And if it come your lifetime, then you're prepared to leave here, but you got to make sure you're right at the judgment day, because you can't use this as a ploy. I'll go knock that police out and then I get in the kingdom. No, we still got some sins you have to be judged by.
You can't try to pull
and that act, right, that act have to be more than your sins that got you weighed down to wipe them away.
Right.
If it ain't, better settle it in your heart first, y'all. And it ain't like saying don't do nothing if you see a situation like that. They was doing technically everything they can, but old Toa was blocking them. Every time they run up, he jump in front. You better get back.
Like a dog.
And they pull their face out. You better get back. While he killing, y'all better get back. So y'all, we have to understand these things of settling things in your heart and saying, if it was me, these people didn't know they was Israelites who were filming, but they did the best they could is filming. And one thing I ain't heard is the praise of this young lady who filmed it. Not like it should be. Should be at the funeral. Should be out front.
Right, she should be standing there next to his brother. She should be next to his brother.
Because she getting death threats. That's right. That's a problem, y'all.
See? And see, like the one thing he just said, the Lord say, I told y'all I was going to do this. Y'all should be used to this by now. That's what this whole class is about. Because remember, I started out, the first thing I thought about was Lot's daughter. I'm like, oh, no, he ain't going for this. No. I was like, no, that's it. And then, you know, when he reminded me, like, nigga, you forgot who I am? And the reason why I made this class, think about it if it was one of his people. I'm just saying one of us, one of his believers, that like Lot's daughter. She wasn't a Sodom and Gomorrahite citizen, she just lived there. She followed the Lord in that city, right? And she died in that city. So there is a comparison to say, what if it was a Hebrew Israelite who believed in the truth that was in Georgia's spot? To say, okay, I'm done with this. But no, it still doesn't play out like that. He was done with Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? He was done with Sodom and Gomorrah then. We know what this end is. No matter what they do, we know what this end is. And the end is here. Come on home, y'all. Y'all understand that. Daniel said it last week, 2050, possible.
Oh, well,
the count, only on account of the 430 of that comparison to say that we know for a fact we've been in this land 430 years, right? So that it ain't gonna be 500. So if we getting close, if we don't see it, our children are darn sure our children's children should see it. Our great grandchildren could be them ones that's up out of here. We may yield up the ghost in this land.
That's right.
We can't leave those, but we know the difference of coming out of this land and Joseph them, and Moses and them coming out of Egypt when Joseph said, take my bones.
Don't leave my
We can't leave, some of our bones gonna get left here. Bottom line, and it ain't where you're laying them down at, it's where they going when they get back up.
That's right.
Okay, that's the point. It ain't where you laying them down, it's where they going when they get up, because we gonna read that. Just say I came full circle. Let's keep going so we can get to that.
Verse 15. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
That's when you have a brother that can check a cop and tell him, you have no right to do what you're doing to me, and he knows it and stops and don't do it.
Right.
You see them videos. There's one video of a cop in jump out boy clothes harassing a guy standing on the corner. Another brother walked up to him and checked him so hard, his partner walked away.
Two white boys.
Yeah, say I ain't got nothing to do with this. Because he heard what he said immediately and knew this wasn't gonna be good for us. I'll be in the car. You can take this
tongue lashing yourself. And checked him so hard that it was over. So we have to know, it's not like watch that video and write down everything he said, because the laws are changing in different lands. I still don't know what life and life, I know what life without parole is, but when because the laws are different in each state. So one state you get life. Well, life is 20 years in some states. Other states, life is life. Other states, life is without parole, meaning you ain't getting out ever. So I still don't know the differences of which one's life, your natural life, and we know life without parole is your natural life, but you keep saying people, he served life for this and he got out and killed someone. How can he serve life and get out and do this? That's what I'm saying, right.
25 is life. It's 25 years of your life is a portion of your life. If you only sit here for 70 years, 70, 75 years, that's 75 years and you get 3 life terms. So they're taking a portion of your life and they call that life because 25 years for either one of us right now is a bad deal right now. Especially for us sitting up here. Ain't no need us looking forward to nothing when we get out.
I just turned 55 a couple weeks ago.
Ain't nothing looking forward for us when we get out. You youngsters, if you go in at 25, that's 50 when you get out. And then if they say life with the possibility of no parole, that means that it's based on your good behavior.
They'll find you in a fire.
Right, if you do good, there's a possibility that parole will let you out. But you gotta be walking it down the line like you're supposed to. And then if they say life with no parole, that's natural life. So that means Ted Foster coming and get you.
Right.
Under those circumstances, but 6 months Ted Foster may come in and get you because once you enter there, all bets off. But not cut you off, right? But the best thing I saw Trump doing right this, I love them doing this. You know why? Because all he's telling the whole world is this what I'm gonna be judged by. This is what I will be judged by. When y'all get through, this book gives me the authority to do what I just done. To move y'all out, this book gives me the authority. Well, that's fine for me because all of the judgments in here, then he's saying, I'm ready to accept what the Most High gonna put on me for what I'm doing to his children. Yep. He's holding it up, just like the script he just read. It said, it's with your lips that this drama is gonna come back on you. He did this. Right here, and pointed to it, flipped it any kind of way you want. But he's saying, this right here is why I'm doing what I'm doing, so judge me according to this. I don't have a problem with that because it's already written. He's just speaking. I mean, there's more prophecy being revealed by him doing that.
There it is.
If he didn't have the Quran, then we have something to say. But I can't argue with a man that holds his own judgment up like that. It's just like they saying that King James was a fag, and he holding up the Bible and everything in Romans 1:20 and this. If a man, I'm killing you. I mean, that's a man that understands I'm ready for the punishment of the Most High to me because I'm reading it and I translate it. I see it clear. Now, how many of us are doing it?
You trying to stretch it out.
And look, if you check, he didn't quote 97, but he's basically saying this is what this nation is running by. If y'all don't like it, take it up to God of this Bible. So, but
See,
with that,
he didn't hold up a police badge and say, I'm the law and order president.
He said law and order, didn't
he? He said, I'm a law and order president, but he didn't hold up no police badge to show that. He said, this is my authority.
Right.
This is my authority. Let's read on.
Verse 16. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
Not George's sake, like Al said.
Right.
Not George's sake. And see, all men aren't hated. You see how this flip around? He said it all come down to his name's sake.
Right.
So if that's all you got to be worried about if they persecute you for his name's sake.
Right.
But they could. That little white woman here, are you persecuting me for the name of the Lord that you say you go by? Put it back on. I see that cross on your neck.
Yeah.
That Jesus that stands for, is that who you represent? You can't. You can't. Because you would know all knees, all knees will bow and all tongues shall confess. But if you knew him like you think you know him, you would know who I am as well. You would know who I am as well. And you better respect me for who he made me. Because you're going to pay for it.
Well, you mean I can't get persecuted because my nipple bags only got 2 joints?
Hating on you.
You ain't got much clientele, do you?
Sure no.
Dog, it is just a nickname. Depending on if it's 2 ski-wees or if it's 2 hog legs. Verse 18. But there shall not an hair on your head perish.
Okay, so if not a hair on our head, you know that hair, what, this is scripturally, the next thing that where he said here, that not a hair on your head will be harmed, that's the same thing that's next to Daniel and them being in the fiery pit and not the smell of smoke was on.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So we talking air and a hair.
Come on.
That's the 2 most minusculest things that he's like the mustard seed, the smallest seed. He's like, they was in there and not the smell of smoke was on their clothes. And we just read here, so what are we supposed to be afraid of?
Nothing.
Huh? What are we supposed to be afraid of if he say, not one of these on your head will be harmed? Shall no plagues come nigh whose? Thy dwelling. Right? Thy dwelling.
So we shouldn't be scared of coronavirus?
No, we shouldn't be scared of it.
We shouldn't be scared of the police?
You only should be scared of him that can destroy the body and the soul.
Oh, the body and the soul.
Read on.
Verse 19. In your patience possess ye your soul. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Not the National Guard. Not the National Guard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not special forces here on this soil.
Right.
Dealing with these problems.
Right.
The only army we're supposed to be worried about when we see the ones that's compassing Jerusalem.
Say that again, bro.
The only army we supposed to be worried about is when they start compassing Jerusalem. Other than that, these little punks out here ain't got nothing going on. You ain't supposed to be afraid of them. Why would you be afraid of them? Because you ain't out there around them. You understand what I'm saying? You're not out there around them. You're not facing them. You're not 79 years old getting knocked down and falling on your head. Like that old white man did. But he wasn't just a innocent bystander. He was known for that, they say. I'm not defending either one of them. But you see, they showed him no mercy either.
Right.
And knocked him down. And he fell backwards and landed on his head.
Civil war coming, because all them quit.
See?
So there's 57 of them.
They quit because they punished.
Right? And so you see, like, all these, now look, you think about all these other niggas out here that's so hard on each other. Ricky Smiley said all the time, George Zimmerman's still walking around. George Zimmerman's still walking around. So you ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got nothing to say if y'all allow that man to still walk around.
Well, it's the same court system that you got to go to now. They said not guilty. See, and that's the dilemma you up against, but that's the way we were acting in Jerusalem. We were doing the same exact thing.
You can't go kill George Zimmerman and accuse him of doing what he killed Trayvon Martin for.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you saw George Zimmerman walking down the street and you say, you go and knock him and say, hey, I was following, he looked suspicious to me. Everything that he used in his defense against Trayvon Martin, you say the same exact thing. Same exact thing. And then you're going to be a big difference. Right. It ain't going to work with your black ass.
Yes, sir.
I'm bad, I'm tough. I took care of George Zimmerman, and now the rest of your glory comes from another man,
Yeah.
bend over, nigga.
Yes. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we talking about. That's what we talking
We're about
about.
to get this Zimmerman.
That's right. Just zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's go.
Y'all doing too much.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And when they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Now, where do we start out at? Somebody? Where did we start out at? Started out in Jasher, right? Top of Mount Sinai. Lord say, we put you in the hand of the Gentiles.
Jubilees.
Right. Jubilees. So, if he told Moses, see, this is what we're saying. We saw that he told Moses, save your breath. I know you love your people, Moses. They my people too. I love them too. But there's a difference in our love. There's a difference in our love. You don't know my side. You on the sin side. You on the sin side with your sinful people, but you love them. But I'm telling you right now, Moses, what you asking for, just like I say, he could have brought Moses back later and said, see, didn't I show you this, Moses? Didn't you beg me to not do this to these people, and I tell you they ain't gonna be hard-headed anyway? Look at them, Moses. Look at them. See what these niggas are doing? Yo, people, you thought that golden calf was something, Moses? Look at these niggas today, Moses. You see, that's what we talking about. That's what we talking about. So right here, we just read that there is going to be an end of the Gentile. Right? Read it again.
Verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun.
24 again.
Oh, you want 24 again? Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So that time still is out there. And we saw it, we see it is taking place in Jerusalem, right? Where we at? We ain't even made it home yet. We ain't been gathered yet. But when we started out here at the top of this page, it said, patience.
That's right.
For your soul.
Yes.
Guard your soul in patience. Sit tight.
You know, another good powerful thing about this too is those who believe every time the Bible says Gentiles, that's talking about Israelites, then that means that it was a group of Israelites left in Jerusalem as Gentiles and stomping and trodden it down. So there should be Israelites in Jerusalem leading the gay parade. Those should be Israelites. All these are truly Gentiles and not of the stock of Israel. It's one or the other. You can't have it both ways. So then it said, when the end time comes, if you be in Judea, flee to the mountain. So who's fleeing to the mountain? The Israelite Gentiles? See, when you really think about how they try to make it all one nation about this, you always gonna have this left open, and you're gonna have to explain this. Okay, well, them actual Gentiles. Get out of here. You can't never separate the two, because you jumbled up in it, because you don't know which one is talking about the one of another nation or the Gentile Israelite mindset. How do you determine the difference between the two? Because if one getting a blessing in Romans 11, why would he want to be the natural branch?
Right.
If the Lord blessing me already, why should I change it and know I'm Israel? For what?
And then why does a branch have to be regrafted back in?
Back in. It don't make sense.
Keep going.
Verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
Oh.
Men's hearts.
Wait. Y'all, thanks for Lord, thank you. Remember this. Y'all see the earth, the storms, hurricanes are coming in. So y'all see how this is all working, and you seeing it's not just because it's the season, but the Lord said, I'm gonna do this. Has there ever been a season without a hurricane in this hurricane season?
Right.
It's their time now, and look at the time that it is.
Corona.
Look at everything is compiling upon compiling. So now you got the protests going on, you got the virus going on, and then you're finna lose your house.
You gonna leave my man?
So you see all these things? Now, like I say, we ain't heard about COVID until George. And now you're gonna get the hurricanes on top of that. The Lord ain't playing, but they think he is. They think he is. They think we know he not. He read.
Hey, you wild real quick, you see where that river turned red at that? They said it was an oil spill, but I ain't never seen it.
I heard about it, but they didn't.
Russia.
Yeah.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what they could be saying. You know.
Yeah, they could be saying it could be real.
And you can't go no U.S. scientists go over there and test it, not on Russian soil. So they say what they want it to be coming from. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
we look at rivers turning to blood because it got to be like Egypt. It could be a sign, but one thing we have to be careful of is these plagues are taking place. All those took place after he went to Pharaoh. So until the two witnesses go, and then we start seeing blood rivers, because that'd be a mirror image.
Right.
So until we get two to go to Donald Trump and say, let my people go, then the blood rivers start.
Shoot, you get two niggas to go up to Trump now and say, I got ships. I'll send y'all back on the ships that I sat outside of California and New York. I got ships to take y'all ass back.
Right. So y'all, we have to be careful with prophecy. You know, even though we see some things that's happening, you know, if until we get two witnesses going, you have to scrap it as maybe it is a chemical leak, because it has to be mirror image. It has to work the same way it did in Egypt, because we're in the land of captivity. We're in Egypt, so Pharaoh have to turn down the request to let us go first before anything happens.
Let's go.
Verse 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say it.
Right. We're gonna skip that one about me.
You cut them off at the pass, huh? Yeah.
And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Yah is nigh at hand. Verily, I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life.
Cares of what?
And cares of this life. And so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And in the daytime when he was teaching in the temple, and at night when he went out, and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple for to hear him.
All right, y'all, we got just a couple more. Go ahead.
Got a question in the live chat. They said, I was reading 2 Baruch 27, and the Most High is explaining the 12 different times of tribulations. And why is there only just 7 seals in the book of Revelations, which is tribulations?
He's saying what? Say that again.
That's what I read it again. He said, I was reading 2 Baruch 27, and the Most High is explaining the 12 different times of tribulations. And why is there only just 7 seals in book of Revelation, which is tribulation?
Well, you're talking about 7 seals versus 12 forms of tribulation. You can have tribulation. We got tribulation right now. The seals may not even be broken open yet. So things can lead up to, getting to the seals. That like, look, Abraham was in the fire. So that's times of tribulation, but the seals weren't broken in. You got to always understand this thing started in the garden to correct. Right. So everything he's saying is from that. Job faced that tribulation that he just read in the 15th chapter. 14th, 15th chapter. Job was facing that times of tribulation that Baruch is talking about. But then when you get to the final stretch, like Revelation 15, these 7 last plagues. Now these are the 7 seals that are now being opened. But you had tribulation all along the line. We got patriarchs we talk about all the time. What happened with the Maccabees and these type of things. That was tribulation, getting run out in 70 AD. That was tribulation when we got scattered to all the 4 corners of the earth. But the 7 seals, when they're cracked open, it's the time of the fig tree. Right. Now it's time to watch because you're getting instruction. If you're in this spot, do this. If you're in this spot, do that.
So these things are going on.
Because those are seals being stripped back and now they're showing the time. But tribulation been going on since Adam sinned. So if you're talking about dispensations, it could be talking about dispensations, but you probably need read a little bit more in that Baruch, if those 12 are pinning toward the last day, then it's something to study further. If they're saying that those 12 says these are the exact last days that these 12 is coming to pass. But it's probably talking from captivity, starting from, the Assyrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Egyptian captivity. All that was tribulation, y'all. But then when we get to the final run, that what we talking about, where it said it's going to be like the days of Noah. Now we know that these seals are talking about the end of the world. Because that's where we're at that point. We're at the end of the world. Because he said earthquakes and heaven shall be shaken. So now you know what set of seals you into when heaven is going to be shaken, y'all, because you got to throw all them space stations down. Every satellite coming down, so it's going to kill all your phone service. All that's coming back down to earth. All that's coming down, just like Lucifer was thrown down, all of that's coming back down here. Is there anything else?
No, that was it. I asked them to answer their question, they responded to.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. They said, wow, told our Rabbi, bring it out, Brother Dan.
Hallelujah. All right, we got Ezekiel 37, 1 through 14, Revelations 1 through 8. I want to do all 3 books of Peter, 2 Peter, and then one last verse of 2 Chronicles chapter 6, 34 through 42, and we out of here.
So start that over again.
Yeah, where he's going?
Ezekiel 37.
Ezekiel 37.
1 through 14. Yeah, I'm thankful to get through all these scriptures today.
Yeah, them brothers ain't been talking long. They ain't been long-winded. That's what I be trying to get them to stop. They were long-winded. Here we go. Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 1. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yah, my power, thou knowest.
Every time I hear that voice, I think about in Hebrew, the so-called Negro DVD, that this how the DVD starts out. So you know the guy that they had narrating that, I hear his voice every time I hear this scripture. When he say, oh man, oh son of man, can these bones live? Thou knowest. You know, see how he said? It's just right where they got that from in that video. Every time I read this, I hear his voice. Let's keep going.
Verse 4. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord.
Hold up real quick. Now, because this is one thing Daniel always say, what's the first gift that we get?
Prophecy.
Prophecy, right? So
Yes.
now you're standing there, you're the prophet, prophesying to the dry bones. See, when I gave the example earlier of how all these people are together now, but if we were able to, like, I'll just use the term infiltrate, where and pass out the word of the Lord, to where the word will be going forth. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you, the fringes of society, but say we were standing on the fringes of all this stuff and saying, hey, come here, man. You know why this is happening? And they listen. Right. And then that person can tell someone else like the way it's supposed to go. And see how, and see it spread from state to nation to the world of the truth. So the world can see it. That's what I meant by that earlier. That these nations are coming together. Look at all I see in these big cities. I see fertile ground. That's what I see. Fertile ground. Wish I had a plane to fly over and sprinkle seeds on it. You see that? That's what I see in these nations and my people that's out there that don't know, that's mourning. That's mourning. You see that? That's fertile ground out there that how much more forth can the word go? That's what I see. So let's keep going.
Verse 5.
You got a question?
Got a question. Sister Maggie want to know, have they finished the third temple yet? That's what she
You ain't seen it, I ain't seen it.
Right.
I'll answer it. We'll do this one real easy. We'll do this one real easy. No. Keep reading.
Well, y'all, you know, like I say, you ain't seen the reveal. Verse 6. No, I didn't finish verse 5. Okay. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live again. And ye shall live, I'm sorry. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind. Prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me.
And it said slain. Slain.
Yes,
not dead or died.
Yes, sir.
Slain.
Yes, sir.
Read on.
And the breath came into them, And they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our part.
Now, just as one quick side example, that these bones, just using these bones right here, that were breathing on, skin came back on, and they lived again. All the black men and women that have been killed in this country since we've been brought here. See, killed. These people that were slain. Just look at that example of how great that number is. Since we have been here, how many of us have been killed and slain in this land simply because they hate us? Simply because they hate us. See, they call the 911 on us now for sitting on a park bench. What do you think?
Bird watching.
Bird watching.
Right. What do you think about our people that, when you living in the woods, you know what I'm saying? We talking them times. You at home with your wife and your children in your cabin, sleep, and here they come, kicking in on you in the middle of the night, terrifying your family, and hanging you up from a tree and burning a cross in your yard. That's what I'm talking about. These bones, these dry bones.
Yes, sir.
Read on. Go
You got a
ahead.
question? Go ahead.
I got another question here. Maggie is asking, so it's false, the Antichrist is supposed to come and sit in the temple before the end of the world?
Yes, sir. I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It has in 2 Thessalonians 2. You know, Matthew 24. All this tribulation he talking about, the Antichrist had already been here. You understand what I'm saying? It's being trodden underfoot.
Right.
That's how we started off. It's the last days. So all these things are taking place. Seals are cracking open. If you be in Judea, flee to the mountains. It's the same thing Zechariah 14 putting down. Flee to the mountain. Zechariah 14, same thing, the Mount of Olives. So it's telling you that the Antichrist has turned on us. Because that's what has to happen first, y'all. It's going to get better before it get worse. And only understanding this, better in the sense that death gonna stop for just a second, the slaughtering gonna stop, the unemployment gonna stop, because the Antichrist gonna fix all of that. That's how he gonna lure you in to see. The Most High has to let him come on the earth first to see if you're a true believer.
Right. And see, that's what I remember saying this myself a class or two back that I taught, that just because the economy good right now, just because you done got a $1,200 check, that don't make Trump the Antichrist. He acting like it,
Right.
but it don't make him, because it's gonna be good for everybody. How is it good for everybody? We still getting killed in the streets.
That's what we're talking about.
And he's still against us.
Yes, sir.
See, that's like him saying, hey, like I said earlier, he could have flipped this thing in one sentence. I'm gonna put my people on this, and I'm gonna make sure that this man get justice. He the one to vote. I said it, every heart of every nigga in this country. They'd have been like, what? And everybody else that had something to say about it, been like, what? I was wrong. See, that's all he had to say. But what he said was what from his heart.
Yes, sir.
So we know now.
Right.
So it don't matter now. There is no excuse for him now. He threw like Drew Brees.
Right.
The bottom line is, you done said something that you didn't have. You're not even smart enough. With all the power that you have, you could have had more. You could have had more. You could have had every nigga here behind you.
You can't unring the bill.
Yeah, could have had more. I'm telling you, man. And see, that's what this is all about. Is that you still.
And look, y'all, when he was doing this, he could have been saying, I'm God. He could have said, I'm coming representing the law. See, you got to really look and see what's taking place here. It's chaos. It's chaos all over the world right now. It's chaos. There's war still going on, y'all. And for him to do this, could he be saying, I'm God? I don't understand. He said, I come to bring law and order. So you have to look at that. And if he turned for some reason, Trump has made a dramatic turn, and he's talking about now that we've been persecuting the children of God, and we need to get this stuff straight. And everybody be championing the cause, and they'll run to Trump because he said those words. We can't go for those words just because he's saying them. Just because he's saying them, he may be saying them because he's the Antichrist. or he's getting ready to introduce the Antichrist.
He could be the forerunners.
That's what we're saying. So if he says, and we got to be too careful not to be waiting on somebody to say that we're the children of Israel unless all the pieces are fitting together, because it's going to get better, y'all. And I want y'all to understand this. As rough as it is, he's going to look like God on earth. That's what 2 Thessalonians 2 say, don't it? He shall cause one the stars. He gonna make lightning come down. Big Mama gonna show up, but it'll be a familiar spirit. But we gonna be so glad if you see Big Mama, you gonna think you in the kingdom.
Even though you know she dead.
But all you have to do is look up, and if you see the what?
Sun.
And the what?
Moon.
Then who was he?
Antichrist.
Antichrist. Y'all, as simple as that. If any of these things taking place, and the sun and the moon is still in the sky, then we got a ways to go. We still got possibly 30, don't we?
And like I said, if we still have a ways to go, what that mean? Do you say, well, I ain't gonna make it, meaning it's gonna happen after my life, so I'm gonna take this crap shoot with my life, and just live right now, and I'm gonna give myself a year. And I'm just gonna go out here and be buck wild, and I'm gonna come back to the Lord. He gonna be right there at the door. No, you ain't, nigga.
Yeah, oh boy.
No, you ain't. Not with what you knew.
Ooh,
you gonna do me like that?
Yeah.
You think you can do me like Bink?
You gonna wait till you get to
There we go.
364 days in your life.
They've been righteous his whole life and
turn from it and die in my sin?
No.
Who am I on their team then? Trump gonna be my partner.
Y'all gonna be late, buddy.
Right. Cause ain't nothing else for us. There's nothing else for us, right? Okay. Let's keep going.
Is that good on the question?
Yeah.
Verse 9. No, we did that.
12, I think.
Come on down to 12. Right. Long.
Got them new speakers on.
Yeah, he sure, but he was walking lightly, ain't he?
Verse 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And you should know that I am the Lord, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And ye shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. And I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, saith the Lord.
So right here, this land is our grave.
Yeah.
Because some people ain't gonna get it until they're brought out of their grave. When it's time, he said, I'm gonna come get you and bring you back to the land of what? Israel?
Right.
Some people ain't gonna know it until then. What you mean I'm an Israelite? What you mean I ain't a Baptist? What you mean we going somewhere? He said they woke up out the grave. They won't know it until it's time. I remember, boy, I think we back on page 10. Daniel talking about your grandmama. Here she come with a big bag of medicine. Where they taking us to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They know we leaving up out of here, but you have no clue where you're going.
Where you going?
You got your bag. You got your bag of medicine. Where they taking us to?
Right.
But you know you gotta go. Now your good white man you trusted in, you're thinking he's putting me out. You don't know it's the Lord bringing you out. Amen. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
And some of them ain't gonna know it until then. Oh, somebody did tell me something about that before. Here's your chance. Here's your chance now. Now you know. Now you know. Think of that mercy.
With your forehead wrinkled up about the Bible.
She said, Maggie asked the question again. She said, why did Daniel Solomon say Antichrist already came?
I ain't never said that. I say he got to come first before the second coming. That's why I say read 2 Thessalonians 2. If you will, can they read that real quick?
Yeah,
I'm gonna take you off the court. Just hit that real quick, bro. Ariel, if you will. 2 Thessalonians 2. Y'all, and understand, ain't no bad question, y'all. We have patience for these things, but there's so many doctrines flying around now, y'all, and there's a lot of YouTube videos flying around, y'all. But the pieces of the puzzle still have to fit together. It's like, you know, when y'all putting that little jigsaw puzzle together and you keep trying to put that one in there, and somebody tell you, look, it don't fit.
Right.
Well, it's shaped the same, but it don't fit.
You steady pressing
And
on
you
it.
steady pressing on it. Maybe they made a mistake at the manufacturer. It ain't me. So you keep pressing and it don't fit, and then you find the right spot where it fits, and it's almost fitting at the end of the puzzle when you put in the last few pieces. You know, but we can't jump the gun because we want it to happen in our lifetime. You know how many people been talking about the world coming to an end with major events? Everybody, you know, look, I thought 9/11 was it. America being attacked, the towers coming down. How long that's been? That was what?
9/11,
9/11,
2011.
2001. Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
So y'all have to understand that how long we've been, and it continues to roll. It quiet down and it continues to roll. And there may be the phases of the 12, but they continue to roll until you get to the point that where everything has got to happen, because Jerusalem is tied into this. Whenever you see that temple being rebuilt or you hear about temple, we heard the embassy been moved to Jerusalem, so it could be the temple already built. It's the embassy. And when the nation surrounded, America got to help it because it's America embassy. They put Trump name on the avenue and on a coin for that new, or for that, not temple, area, but for that, what do you call it, the Jerusalem embassy. The embassy, he moved it from Tel Aviv to the city. So it's right sitting there now. That's where the head of it is. So it's no more two-state Jerusalem. It's saying the Edomites have lock on it now, and America is their strong arm. They're their arm. So if you come at them, you're coming at America.
Right.
So that's what we have to keep understanding. If Trump is leading the way there, because he's the first president that took on the Jerusalem Embassy Act. Everyone, Barack, Bush, all of them turned it down. No, we ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna be the one to start World War III. He said, give it to me. I'll sign it yesterday. So, but hit that 2 Thessalonians 2 real quick, bro.
Starting at verse 1.
Yes, sir.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1.
What it say?
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach.
So we got the understanding right here. We're talking about his coming, so we're going to get your understanding clear. Beseech you, brother. Look, pay major attention about what I'm about to say. Go ahead, brother.
And by our gathering together unto him.
And by our gathering, everything he just had us reading in Ezekiel 37, gathering up. I'm going to bring you from all nations. Go ahead.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand.
Is that what?
Is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
See, so the day of the Lord can't happen until he's revealed. That's the only way it's going to happen. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yah, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to Yah for you, brethren, beloved of the Most High, because Yah hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth, whereunto he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Master, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or epistle. Now our Master Yeshua HaMashiach himself and Yah, even our Father, which hath loved us and hath given us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts and establish you in every good word and work.
Yes, sir. So you see clearly that it's saying he has to come, he has to show wonders, he has to show miracles because he's the imitator, right?
Right.
So he has to fool everybody that's on planet Earth. But he said, I already told you, you see the sun and the moon, how y'all falling for this? So look, if he's giving out stimulus checks and that sent us crazy, what you think the Antichrist gonna give out?
Right.
Like you saying, them 30G checks.
Right.
And you thinking I'd have been delivered. Well, you have to understand, 30 G's for everybody in this room would be a deliverance today, wouldn't it?
That's what I'm talking
At least
about.
from the mule thieves, from
The roof thieves.
right, all of that. Things gonna get fixed. Drop a motor and a tranny in a car, and still have some leftover change, wouldn't you?
That's what I'm talking
And
about.
you be saying, thanks to Donald Trump. Thanks to Donald Trump, or whoever it may be, and you sucked in, and then in 3.5 years, he gonna flip the script. Now, everybody that got a stimulus check, I need y'all, if you want another one, to take the mark of the beast. Remember, Pharaoh magicians threw their staffs down too.
Right.
But Moses' staff ate theirs up. So it's going to be like manner with the two witnesses. Two witnesses got to face the Antichrist, y'all. That's what we got to understand. How we go? Has anybody seen the two witnesses yet, or we done missed it? Y'all got to understand, you can't put the Antichrist on earth and the two witnesses ain't confronting them yet. If that's past, then y'all, if this tribulation, I can ride this one out.
Oh yeah. And Maggie, I'll give you a hint. When they start building that third temple, you gon' know.
Right.
It ain't gonna be no, it's a symbol.
Yeah.
You gon' know because they gotta lay the cornerstone first. And the cornerstone's already cut.
Yes, sir.
We know they got the robes and the dye and everything and the crown and all this stuff they're gonna sit on their head, but they ain't started putting it together yet.
Right.
So they gotta have it. So if they got all these ingredients, that shows you how close we are.
Yes, sir.
That the Antichrist may even be alive today.
Yeah, his boots on.
You see what I'm saying? So you gotta understand that. So until that time, because it's gonna be world news. You ain't gonna, just like George Floyd, world news,
Yeah.
Third Temple, world news.
Yes, sir.
You're not gonna miss it. So,
And
you know
think
where we're
about
at.
5G gonna make sure you ain't gonna miss it, because y'all got to understand they got cell phones in the Amazon jungle. So they ain't gonna miss it.
Right.
Grass skirts and eating on human flesh, they ain't gonna miss it.
Yep. They got, not even with the Amazon jungle, like over in Korea or whatever, these people that live on boats, they have a big thing of car batteries. And that's how they charge their phones. They use car batteries.
He said, hallelujah.
Okay, all praises.
All praise.
He said, yeah, we're all the witnesses.
Is it 5? We have to? We got 448. What we'll do?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, bro.
Okay, we got. In how many seconds?
12 minutes.
So check this out. What we have left, if we can make this, the Revelations 1 through 8, and we can run the 3 books of Peter, of the 2nd Peter, and then the last verses, and we're done. Say the prayer. So we can get this done in about 10 minutes if we go straight through it. Because this Peter, shut it up. No, I tell you, this Peter is a story within itself. You know, it don't have to be homework. But it's just these 3 chapters of this Peter.
Let's run it.
So get the Revelations and let's get on through.
That's Daniel and Revelation.
Revelation?
Just 1 through 8.
1 through 8?
Yes, sir.
Oh, and while he's doing that, anybody out there this is for DJ C-Note, and he's in Queens, in the Bronx. But anybody in that area, y'all let us know, because he's trying to find some brothers and sisters around him who believe that he can fellowship with. So if there's anybody that lives around that area, just say you do in here, and he'll see it, and then we'll go from there. I should have announced this earlier, but like anybody in those areas, just reach out for him. He's looking for fellow brothers and sisters around him. So y'all communicate that on your own, and if you're there, let them know you're there. Holler if you hear him. All right.
And let me say too, tell them to check Revelation 16 too, sister. It talks about the work of the Antichrist when they make the beast and the mark and everything like that. So it breaks it all down what he gonna do, and you'll see again him being destroyed after all his works. The Messiah come after he's frogs and beheading people. You know, so all that comes, and then the Messiah comes. Cause like you said, he come back for the slain. You ain't slain and you just die of natural causes, is you?
Right.
Well, go ahead.
Sis said thank you. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm awoken now again.
Okay. All praises.
Sister,
All praises to the Most High.
you family, sister. We got to take care of you like we expect to be taken care of. All iron sharpening iron. We in this for the love.
She say she really appreciate the valuable time spent on her.
No problem.
Since we all one family,
That's
one
right.
body.
That's it. Let's go.
Let's make Revelation chapter 1. Verse 1. The revelation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. What I say? There we go.
That's all right there, Daniel.
Okay. Which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bare record of the word of Yah, and of his testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you and peace, from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead.
Of the dead. So we in that Ezekiel, he's the first begotten of the people that his father's going to open the graves up and bring out. Right? So that was what his job was to do, to make a way out for us. The first begotten of the dead. Read on.
First begotten of the dead, and the prince of kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto Yah, and his Father to him, and to his Father, to him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty.
Hallelujah.
Y'all notice that was that verse in that song. All right, these last 3, and then this last verses, and we out after the prayer. 2 Peter 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
He said, Zip, you got that 1 Peter. You just read 8 verses and you tired?
Look, it passed it. I passed. I'm not.
This ain't domino.
1 Peter,
2 Peter
2 Peter,
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Okay.
One for you, 2 and 3 for Zed.
2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 1. Right? Simon Peter, a servant and an apostle of Jesus Christ, to them that have attained like precious faith with us through the righteousness of Yah and our Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of Yah and of Jesus our Lord, according as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertaineth unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us unto glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. And beside this, given all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach.
You don't seem like Fat Albert got this knowledge, do he?
No.
Okay, keep reading.
But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and hath forgotten that he was purged from his old sin. Wherefore, the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure.
There it is.
For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. For so in interest shall be ministered unto you abundantly into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Wherefore I will not be negligent to put you always in remembrance of these things, though ye know them and be established in the present truth. Yet I think it meet, as long as I am in this tabernacle, to stir you up by putting you in remembrance, knowing that shortly I must put off this my tabernacle, even as our Lord Jesus Christ has showed me. Moreover, I will endeavor that ye may be able after my decease to have these things always in remembrance. For we have not followed cunningly devised faith, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty. For he received from Yah the Father honor and glory. When there came such a voice to him from the excellent glory, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came from heaven we heard when we were with him in the holy mountain. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but by holy men of Yah, spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost.
Okay, so if you're not a holy man of Yah, you will never be moved by the Holy Ghost. So you see when you hear fat mouthing, and you know the difference. You know the difference between the two. So when I immediately heard him say, we gonna rise up in George's name, I was like, nigga, you done lost your mind that you ain't had. That you ain't had for you, because see, we read that they say things. If they knew better, they wouldn't say things like this out their mouth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because what? You're gonna have to give accountants for that.
That's right.
The Most High gonna show him. Whose name? Al? Whose name you say you was gonna rise up in? It wasn't my name.
Right.
The only name that's under heaven and earth that brings salvation. George's name can't do that. George dead.
Right.
George is dead.
Yes, sir.
And his name has no power. But look at what his name is now around this world. His brother gonna come out. I'm predicting this for a minute. His brother's been doing a good job in speaking for his family and representing. And I'm feeling that they're gonna start calling on. He gonna be in the next, something else happened. They're gonna go to his brother. Yeah, bring him in. He can calm him down. See what I'm saying? Talk about your brother's name and talk about peace.
Right.
That's what they hoping for.
Peaceful pro. What's Roger Goodell talking about? We should have acknowledged the players a long time ago, and you still didn't say Colin Kaepernick. I didn't know.
Right.
Like
He starting quarterback.
he just made a comment about me knowing who Drew Brees was. That's right. That was funny because I don't. I'm not a sports fan by any means. Okay. So for Roger Goodell to come out and say we should have acknowledged. You still just trying to pacify niggas. That's all you trying to do. See, because if you really felt it like they saying, bring Colin back. Because unless Colin see you piss off these $1 million niggas, you gonna have some problems. These some straight stallions.
Yes, sir.
In stalls.
That's right.
That you have to break.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So you get to messing with them and their money. Put them niggas out there in the field and be like,
That's right.
run, nigga, run!
Right.
There we go. There we go. Let's finish this off, y'all.
That's on who now?
Zip, chapter 2.
Yes, sir. Did my 3 like you.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1.
What's that?
But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresy, even denying the Elohim that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Waiting on L's.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And though covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not.
So their damnation ain't taking its time. Their damnation ain't saying, I'll get there. Their damnation says it's on. It's on. So that's the difference. Read on.
For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into the chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8 persons, a preacher of the righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of ungodly.
So you see here, the Noah here that I was talking about, you being that Noah preaching to the unrighteous, that all this fertile ground that's out there, that it looked like, it just, you see the city like it's full of ants, with all the people out there, but Noah was a preacher of righteousness at this time. You see what I'm saying? Before the flood, 120 years he preached to give people a chance. It could have been 9 people on that ark if one of them would have listened. Y'all see that? So y'all see the entire planet right now come together in George Floyd's name. But only 8 of them made it. Only 8. All these people that we see, not one of them listened to Noah. Not one of them, not one person out here on this planet that has come together in this man's name There's your comparison. Now, one of them listened to Noah. They all drowned. So what are they coming together for? What are they coming together for? And you still lose your life. But this time you lose your soul. Read on.
Verse 6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered not just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Elohim knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust until the day of judgment, to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government, presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Whereas angels, which were greater in power and might, bring not railing accusations against them before the Elohim. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak of evil things that are understood, that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to ride in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes, spotting themselves with their sporting themselves with their own deceiving, while they feast with you.
Look at that. Sporting themselves with their own deception, calling themselves some monkey-muck while they feast with you. They're deceiving their own selves. How you think you looking at the Christ, talking about the Christ coming back? Don't make sense, y'all.
Having eyes full of adultery, that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices. Cursed children, which have forsaken the right way, and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved wages of unrighteousness.
What he loved?
Wages of unrighteousness.
Can y'all believe that he get paid to do wrong? Wages of unrighteousness.
Would rather get paid for doing wrong.
A hitman.
Right.
A hitman.
Don't talk to me about what you got that I can make some money on.
Right.
Call me Mr. Mayhem.
Yeah.
Verse 16, but was rebuked in his iniquity. The dumb ass speaking with the man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet.
There's another one, Al, the dumb ass speaking. In George's name. Dumb ass. Read on.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantingness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Okay, you see what's going to come up here. He say after they have escaped this, right? So look at what's going to happen. Go ahead.
They are again entangled therein, and overcome the latter end as worse with them than the beginning.
So if you did not believe in the Lord, and then you believe in him, and then you say, I don't believe in him no more. Before you didn't believe in him, it's worse off for you then.
Right.
You've been better off not believing in him in the first place than to play with him. You see what I'm saying? Because he ain't gonna play with you.
That's right.
And he ain't gonna let you play with him. How many times did he whoop our tails and tell us, I ain't doing this for you. I'm doing this for my name's sake.
I ain't gonna do it no more. I know you won't.
I'm doing this for my name's sake, because if I let y'all do my name like that in front of the heathens, what they gonna think about me?
Oh.
He said, my name's sake. Y'all can do all that foolishness y'all want to, but when it come to my name,
Right.
all right, so that's what he's saying. Read on.
Verse 21, for it had been better for them to not have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
They're wallowing in that
Wallowing in the
mud.
mire.
Y'all ever see a dog return to his vomit? He'll throw up a meal and come back and
Eat it up.
lick it right off the floor, and you'll be looking
Like
like,
you gave it to him.
They served it in a bowl.
right, so what you say, I ain't gonna never let this dog kiss me in my mouth again.
Right.
I mean, should you be doing that anyway? But I'm just saying.
We talking about,
Everybody just said no, but they didn't say.
Jews and Gentiles today.
So y'all, that's what he's saying. It's like once you get it and understand it. See, it's a difference in you told somebody. You can tell anybody, but that's all we are told is to spread the gospel. We plant the seed, another brother water, and then the Most High get an increase. If they turn back, they didn't accept any of the water or the seed. They just, they just wanted increase to happen right then. But they did it by turning back to the old ways and just saying, well, it ain't say, Lord bless a food and a
Take
child.
care of fools and babies.
See, and then you don't see that in the scriptures though.
Right. And you accept being a fool.
Because I ain't seen nothing. Right. I ain't seen nothing about him taking care of a fool. I see his way is wretched for him. Because that's what it means. That's why we can't call a man a fool. You can say foolish, but to call a man a fool means he's like Curly Stooges in the 10th power. Jethro Bodine in the 20th power. I mean, there's nothing you can make him to understand common sense. You can tie his shoes for him and then have him do it, and he'll steal. That would be rocket science for him.
I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta get this report to Ariel from last. I was watching this class and Danny was talking about a man. Now, how old can a man be and he still act like a child? And they ask you, what's your name? How old are you?
Man.
These men.
Right.
45. Man.
And he don't know how many of them is. He just watched them do it 4 times.
This how many you is,
And he can say he did it this many times. And he just repeating what he saw.
Right. And then he gotta learn it again next year. Amen. Now you're
Right. Paul is one man on the 5th floor.
right. Oh man. We got 1 chapter and 4 verses. Let's get them. Oh man.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by the way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which are spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandments of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior, knowing this first, that there shall come at least in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
You always hear Farrakhan say that you're sitting around waiting on some man to bust through the cloud. You better come on. And then he begging the United States for 3 states.
Right. He better be waiting for him.
Right.
While he got breath in his body. Read on.
For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of Yahweh the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished by the heavens. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with the Elohim is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Elohim is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering towards us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to the repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It's the other verse in that song we listened to this morning. Read on.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be?
What manner of persons are ye to be? He says, seeing these things, all these things are to be dissolved, what manner of person are ye to be? Okay, read on.
In all holy conversation and good and godliness, looking for the hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye might be found in him in peace, without spot and blame, and account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, as also in all his apostles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they also do the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. Ye therefore, beloved, seeing ye know these things before, beware, lest ye also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. But grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. To him be glory, both now and forever. Amen.
And y'all see what's going to drive people to these perilous times is because we may teach this class down the road in 2 years. The only difference, because prophecy is coming to pass, is going to make the scriptures, repeating them again, come back to life. It's like a 7th grade teacher. She ain't changing it up. She's got to get the next 7th grade group that's coming up from the 6th grade. So the message don't change. It's just for the next generation to keep coming. We got to keep telling the gospel the same way. People get tired of that and think, I know this all the way. You will never know it all the way, because the mysteries open up to you more as you continue to study this book. You will never know it 100%. You think you can read this one time and, oh, I get tired, I ain't gonna teach a class on that no more. If you go back, every time you go in the script, you say, boy, that's right there, let me make a mark. If you don't make a mark, then
you're not a diligent studier, because what he just been reading today, I made 2-3 marks over in the other script like that. I needed that right there. So that's what we talking about. It's gonna keep making you grow. You don't have to make up a doctrine, add or take away from it. You just keep it going and preach the gospel. That's what we was ordered to do.
That's why I
Preach
say
the
don't
gospel.
worry
We weren't
about it.
ordered to riot in the streets. Preach the gospel until I come back, and I'll give you power so won't nobody attack you. And there's only gonna be 2 of you. That's all it takes for you to preach the gospel and watch what's happening. Because look, all this talking about the 2 walking together, Paul and somebody, Peter and John or somebody, they walking 2, and we see all the miracles that happen, and all the people that talk about stacking up a gang, still reading about 2 going out. Why the hell do they still running with a gang?
Scared. That's why. This last one, y'all, I'm taking for myself. I'm sorry. I gotta
Go
have
ahead, bro,
these.
how you been?
2 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 34 through 36. What my shirt say? 34 to 42. Yeah, 34 to, yeah, y'all.
That's your thing, man. Then 2 Chronicles what?
This is the class, 2 Chronicles chapter 6, 34 to 42. This is the answer. All these people together, all these masses of nations, mixing and mingling in. But if our people, this is what you ain't hearing, what I was saying earlier. We hearing all this stuff out here in the street, but it's what you ain't hearing. This is what you ain't hearing. Because this is the answer to our problem as a people, as a nation. Right? Here we go. 2 Chronicles 6, verse 34. Yeah. If thy people go out to war against their enemies by the way that thou shalt send them, and they pray unto thee towards this city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou from the heavens their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against thee, for there is no man which sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them over before their enemies. So we see all that happen, right? And they carried them away captives unto a land far off or near. Yet if they bethink themselves, this is what ain't happening. There's no bethinking of themselves. If they bethink themselves in a land whither they are carried captive, and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have done amiss, and have dealt wickedly. If they return to thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their captivity.
In the land of what?
In the land of their captivity, whether they have been carried them captives, and pray toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, and toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee. Now, my God, let, I beseech thee, thine eyes be open, and let thine ears be attent unto the prayer that is made in this place. Now therefore arise, O God, in thy resting place, thou and the ark of thy strength. Let thy priest, O Lord God, be clothed with salvation, and let thy saints rejoice in goodness. O Lord God, turn not away the face of thine anointed. Remember the mercies of David, thy servant. So, thank you all. Hallelujah. To get that out, but to be home again and to see the difference, because that's all it is. The message has not changed. His message is still the same. He's saying, my people, the rest of the world. And there are some people that have our same skin colors of our same nation that are not his people.
Right.
Because they don't believe in them.
That's right.
If they believed in them, they wouldn't be in the trouble that they're in. But it's the point of knowing the difference and what your end is. What your end is. Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom.
2/3, my brother.
Sir, I was looking out there too, Bob.
So far, so good. They
Once
say
again,
Shabbat
y'all,
Shalom, hallelujah, excellent lesson.
Thank all of y'all worldwide artists and local here for your continued support for the ministry and the radio station, y'all. It's greatly appreciated, y'all, as we continue to fight until the money is no more.
That's right. Come down to have to get the mark to continue this now. Word will go on.
Yes, sir. Great class, bro.
All right, family, we're going to get this closed in prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahshua HaMashiach. Around there, we know Him as Jesus the Christ.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 14th chapter, it reads, "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Yahweh will look down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek Yah. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Most High? There were they in great fear, for Yah is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Most High is his refuge. Oh, that salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when the Most High bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad." Hallelujah! Say that!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Y'all
Good
got a shout
class,
out to
brother.
y'all. We greatly appreciate